all ready to go and jump in. Gotta keep it real in the ends, never leave crib where it ends. Me and that kid, we don't even need to pretend. Me and like them, never keep it real in my face or the car with snakes. Watch them fit for my wave they cut, that's so deep. If they don't teach, don't feel it was like I was driving on none.
Does anybody even listen to this kind of shit anymore?
What do you mean?
This isn't real music. Hip-hop is dead. Dead. Nobody knows how to make real music anymore. Dead. Dead. Dead.
Trapped in the academy, taught to go back to the majesty, silence and fantasy. Caught up in apathy, tension, and thoughtless agony. Trapped in the academy, taught to go back to the majesty. Caught up in apathy, tension, and thoughtless agony. Trapped in the academy, taught to go back to the majesty. Caught up in apathy, tension, and thoughtless agony. Check the duality.
Flashback, what you got, man, didn't even crack that. In and out of dolo when a new man to the boy got only when he cracked that. Man, I don't act like heads up, yeah, all of that one pack. I could be anywhere, feeling alright. Till the game on the head is all mad at, mad at, mad at.
बड़े भैया हमको फ्री फायर खेलना है. बड़े भैया हमको फ्री फायर खेलना है. बड़े भैया इसको हीलिंग बैटल में हरा दो. बड़े भैया हमको फ्री फायर खेलना है. छोड़ भाई हील बैटल कर लेते पर मेड किट नहीं है पास. छोड़ भाई फ्री फायर खेल लेते पर फोन में नहीं है नेट. छोड़ भाई फ्री फायर खेल लेते पर नहीं चल रहा दिमाग. मुझको फ्री फायर खेलना है, फ्री फायर खेलना. बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलते खेलते नेट उड़ गया. वो 2G के नेट पे पूरा मेरा दिन कटा. वो फ्री फायर फोन कवर वाला फोन भी खो गया. हो गया. बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है. बड़े भाई हीलिंग बैटल में हरा दो. बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है. बड़े भाई जो भी इस रील को देख रहे हैं प्लीज लाइक कर देना कि ये वाईफाई चोरी करे लो अभी पहला. वो जो छुपके से बैठे मेरे गेम पर शूट. वो जैसे तैसे हीलिंग बैट में सर्कल ले रहा. मेरी स्किन देख बेबी मेरी फ्री फायर मैक्स की. तू किल देख मेरी या फिर देखो मेरी केडी. और वक्त नहीं देना इन्हें करूँ पुश रैंक. मेरे पास में तो वहाँ मत आके ना फेंक. बेबी बैठे बैठे गिनता मैं नोट पे बॉक्स. इन लड़कों को रखता मैं भैया के स्कोप पे. D&D भी ऑन है फोन पे. पाउडर है उंगली ना हट जाए लॉबी में खौफ. मैं ना देता रैम को ना फोन चाहे फट जाए. फोन भी बदल देंगे फ्री फायर. लव बॉयज दो का है सर्कल में. और मेरा बड़ा भाई कौन जीता कौन हारा देख लेगा मेरे भाई. फ्री फायर खेलना है. फ्री फायर खेलना मुझे भाई. हीलिंग बैटल में हरा दो. हीलिंग बैटल में बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है. फ्री फायर खेलना भाई. जो भी इस रील को देख रहे हैं प्लीज लाइक कर देना कि ये फोन लेना है.
Bad on my peak, but I was a peak. ले पहन की यान में अगर की मौत मरे तुझे ऑफ करे. मेरी AK-47 गोल्ड है बहुत. बैटरी में ईगल के सर्कल के बीच में अकेले में घूमूंगा. कोई ना खौफ दिखे तुझे ऑफ करे. मेरी AK-47 गोल्ड रे को है करे कहता रह जाएगा भैया किसको पे बच के ही मानेगा लड़कों में स्किन लगा के करीना की किसको पटाएगा वो भी बता के जा है करे लॉबी में है करे बचकाने छोड़ दे कुट का तेरा घर पे लगे ना चोट तुझे तभी ऑफ करे लगा माइक पे
बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है, बड़े भाई हीलिंग बैटल में हरा दो, बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है। छोड़े भाई जो भी इस रील को देख रहे हैं प्लीज लाइक कर देना कि ये फोन लेना है।
लाइव फ्री फायर गेम की तरह है। हम हर गेम जीतते नहीं पर हर गेम से सीखते जरूर है। मेरा नाम है प्रियंक पटेल। मैं एलजी यूनिवर्सिटी में पिछले 6 साल से बच्चों को ऑटोमोबाइल इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ाता हूँ। मेरे जो दोस्त थे उन्होंने बोला कि आप फ्री फायर अच्छी खेलते हो, अच्छी सिखाते हो, तो क्यों ना आप गेम सिखाने के वीडियोस बनाइए। और इसीलिए मैंने गेमिंग चैनल फ्री फायर की शुरू की। सुबह 6 बजे से लेकर शाम के 4 बजे तक मैं आपको एक सिंसियर प्रोफेसर की तरह दिखूंगा और फिर शाम को 4 बजे से रात के 12 बजे तक एक हार्डकोर गेमर। फ्री फायर के वीडियोस में सबसे पहले मैं स्ट्रीमिंग करता था। एक टाइम ऐसा आया कि मेरी स्ट्रीमिंग पीक पे चल रही थी और एग्ज़ाम्स आके रुक गई, तो मैंने कस्टम रूम्स क्रिएट करना स्टार्ट किया और उसी टाइम पे एंट्री होती है 3 लोगों की, स्टॉर्म, एके और अर्पित। तो शुरुआत तो हमने एक दूसरे के ऑपोजिट में खेलने से की थी, मगर बाद में पता चला कि साथ में बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा खेल सकते हैं। जो हम साथ में खेलते थे वो गेम से इतना अच्छा बॉन्डिंग बन गया। सो इट इज़ बेसिकली कि 4 दोस्त आप साथ में बैठे हो, गप्पे लड़ा रहे हो और साथ में गेम भी खेल रहे हो।
कभी मिला आप लोग?
नहीं, हम एक्चुअली में चारों एक दूसरे को कभी नहीं मिले। प्लान बहुत बने मगर मिले कभी नहीं। इंजीनियरिंग में एक कॉन्सेप्ट है क्वांटम एंटेंगलमेंट। 2 पार्टिकल के बीच में कितना भी डिस्टेंस हो, वो दोनों एक दूसरे से रिलेटेड रहते हैं। यहां पे हमारी जो दोस्ती है वो बिल्कुल क्वांटम एंटेंगलमेंट की तरह है। हम चारों एक दूसरे से दूर हैं, मगर किसी एक पे भी कुछ भी होता है तो फील चारों करते हैं, रिएक्ट चारों करते हैं। इस चीज को आप टीम सिनर्जी कह लो, ब्रदरहुड कह लो, बॉन्डिंग कह लो, कुछ भी कह लो। वो कहते हैं ना, ब्रदर फ्रॉम अनदर मदर।
मेरा नाम हर्षित है और मेरा इन गेम नेम पीजी स्टॉर्म है। मैं गुवाहाटी द सिटी ऑफ टेम्पल्स में रहता हूँ।
स्टॉर्म जो है ना वो एकदम रिवेंज टाइप का कैरेक्टर है, इजीली ट्रिगर्ड पर्सन आप बोल सकते हो।
प्रीसर के चैनल पे एक लाइव स्ट्रीम हो रहा था जहाँ पे कस्टम रूम्स होते थे। एक राउंड में प्रीसर ने मेरे को नॉक किया और मैंने एक राउंड में प्रीसर को नॉक किया था। फिर मैं और प्रीसर एक साथ ग्रुप में आए कि भाई कैसा लगा ऐसे करके।
मेरा नाम है अमल कृष्णा, 20 years of age। मेरा इन गेम नेम है मिस्टर एके।
एके एक्चुअली में केरला से है और एके का जो कैरेक्टर है वो भी एग्जैक्टली साउथ के मूवी के हीरो जैसा है। उसके साथ अगर आप खेल रहे हो ना तो आप कभी बोर नहीं होंगे। उसे पंगे लेना बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद है
और वो हमेशा बोलता रहता था एक मेडिकेट दे दो मैं सबको नॉक कर दूंगा, पर नॉक खुद ही हो जाता था जाके।
और उससे भी स्पेशली पसंद है मेरी किल चोरी करना।
भाई मेरा चोरी होता है किल, मैं किसी को चोरी नहीं करता, वो लोग मेरा किल चोरी करते हैं।
मेरा नाम है अर्पित पठानिया, मैं हूँ हिमाचल प्रदेश से। करंटली मैं चंडीगढ़ में रहता हूँ।
अर्पित बेसिकली बहुत ज़्यादा म्यूट रहता है,
कुछ मुंह से आवाज़ ही नहीं निकलता था
और इसलिए कोई इंपॉर्टेंट सिचुएशन में अगर कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन देनी है कि कोई रश कर रहा है या ये हो रहा है वो हो रहा है तो वो दे नहीं पाता। गेम में बेसिकली अर्पित और स्टॉर्म ये दोनों रशर है, क्लोज रेंज फाइट्स के एक्सपर्ट है और वो हमेशा आगे भागते हैं। मैं स्नाइपर हूँ और इन गेम लीडर हूँ, तो मैं सबसे पीछे रहता हूँ। उन दोनों और मेरे बीच में रहता है एके, जो कि एक फ्रैगर है और एक असल्टर है। स्टॉर्म और एके जाते हैं रश करने के लिए, फिर क्या हो जाते हैं दोनों नॉकडाउन।
स्टॉर्म तो बोलता रहता था कि भाई तू आगे चल, मैं तेरे पीछे कवर देने के लिए हूँ।
और मुझे और अर्पित को जाना पड़ता है रिवाइव करने। नॉर्मली जब कैजुअल मैचेस खेलते हैं तो एक दूसरे की टांग खींचने में से लोग ऊपर नहीं आते। यही लोग प्रोफेशनल मैचेस खेलने जाते हैं, कोई क्रूशियल मैचेस खेल रहे हैं, रैंक पुश कर रहे हैं, तो एक दूसरे के गेम प्ले को इतना ज़्यादा समझते हैं कि बोलना भी नहीं पड़ता है और एक दूसरे को असिस्ट मिल जाता है। धीरे धीरे व्हाट्सएप के नंबर एक्सचेंज हुए, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप क्रिएट हुआ और फिर हमारा एक टाइम था कि रात को 9 बजे स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट करना है।
रूटीन बन गया हमारा कि 9 बजे है तो अपन गेम में आना है, स्क्वाड पे लोग वेट कर रहे हैं।
व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे मैसेजेस आना स्टार्ट हो जाता था कि भाई आ जाओ।
सुबह से लेके शाम तक 9 बजे का वेट करते थे, बिकॉज सभी लोग उसी टाइम पे ऑनलाइन आते थे और उसी टाइम पे खेलते थे।
और अगर मैं लेट हो गया हूँ, मैं खाना खा रहा हूँ, तो मेरे को फ़ोन पे फ़ोन आ रहे हैं, सर कहाँ हो, 9 बजे स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट करना है, स्ट्रीम पे आ जाओ। उस टाइम पे बॉन्डिंग ऐसी थी ना कि अगर कोई मुझको बोल जाता है ना तो दे आर बी लाइक सर आप जवाब नहीं दोगे, आप क्यों अपना मुंह खराब करोगे, हम बैठे हैं ना आपकी ओर से। एक टाइम था जब स्ट्रीम पे बिल्कुल वॉचिंग नहीं आ रही थी, बहुत ज़्यादा डीमोटिवेट हो गया था मैं। इन लोगों ने फ़ोन करके बोला कि सर आप लाइव करना शुरू करो, आपको वॉचिंग आ जाएगी। मैंने लाइव स्टार्ट किया, 5-6 की वॉचिंग आ रही है। आई वॉज सरप्राइज कि ऐसे कैसे। मगर फिर मुझे एक दिन बाद पता चलता है कि ये लोग अपने मम्मी पापा के फ़ोन में लाइव स्ट्रीम लगा के बैठे थे। ये लोग एक बैकबोन है, एक रीज़न है कि आज मैं एक चैनल लेके खड़ा हूँ।
एक टाइम था जब मैं फाइनेंशियली और मेंटली बहुत डाउन हुआ था।
एक के पापा को कोविड हो गया, ज़्यादा ही सिम्टम्स थे, तो वो पूरा प्रेशर में है। स्टॉर्म की एग्ज़ाम्स, पापा का बिजनेस, जितनी भी मतलब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ थी वो उसको कैचअप कर रही है।
पढ़ने के लिए मेरे को घर से दूर इधर आना पड़ा। थोड़ा अकेला फील करता था, इंट्रोवर्ट था, इसीलिए ज़्यादा दोस्त भी नहीं थे।
एक टाइम था जब हम दिन में 6 घंटे खेला करते थे और अब 6 महीने हो चुके हैं साथ में नहीं खेले।
अब टाइम नहीं मिल पाता, पहले पढ़ाई थी, अब जॉब है।
तो फिर सबके एग्ज़ाम्स आने लगे, सबका थोड़ा बिजी शेड्यूल होने लग गया, तो फिर सबने थोड़ा खेलना कम कर दिया।
मैं बहुत मिस करता हूँ उस टाइम को जब हम सभी लोग गेम साथ में खेलते थे। काश कोई उसी टाइम मेरे को बता देता कि फ्यूचर में मैं गेम नहीं खेल पाऊँगा, तो उसी टाइम में 3-4 गेम शायद और खेल लेता।
कभी मिला आप लोग?
नहीं, हम एक्चुअली में चारों एक दूसरे को कभी नहीं मिले। प्लान बहुत बने मगर मिले कभी नहीं।
याद आती है?
बहुत ज़्यादा।
फाइनली गाइस, आई एम सुपर एक्साइटेड। सो आई कांट बिलीव कि मैं गुवाहाटी जा रहा हूँ।
इतने मीटिंग्स कैंसिल हो चुके हैं कि हम लोग हमेशा इसके बारे में बात करते हैं, भाई कब आ रहा है, इधर चलते हैं, उधर चलते हैं साथ में।
सब अपने काम में बिजी रहते थे और कुछ ना कुछ फिर रहता था, इसलिए मिल नहीं पाए।
पर मिलना है, साथ में बैठ के गेम खेलना है।
भाई मेरे को तो उन लोगों से मिलना है। एक मीटअप तो बस कुछ भी हो करके रहना है।
मैं रियल लाइफ में भी देखना चाहता हूँ कि वैसा ही है या कुछ चेंज है उसमें।
सो अगर अब मिल जाते हैं ना तो मज्जा पड़ी जैसे।
भी जैसे रिसेंटली प्रीसर की शादी हुई है तो हम वहाँ जाने वाले थे, लेकिन हमारे एग्ज़ाम्स आ गए थे तो मैं जा नहीं पाया।
79 years since our last war. I don't think it can go on much more. I can feel it. We can feel it. We got peacetime kleptocrats keeping score. Keep our heads down, let them get some more. We don't need it. Let them keep.
एज अ फैमिली आप जैसे कोई चीज़ को हैंडल करते हो, हम बिल्कुल उसी तरह उस चीज़ को हैंडल करते हैं। और उसके अंदर फिर ना कोई बैरियर आता है या फिर ना कोई ऐसी चीज़ें आती है जो हमें रोक सके। एज अ फैमिली, एज अ क्वांटम एंटेंगलमेंट हमारी बॉन्डिंग है, सब बोल सकते हैं। मैं तो हमेशा कहता हूँ लाइफ फ्री फायर मैक्स गेम की तरह है। कभी आप जीतोगे, कभी नॉकडाउन भी हो जाओगे, पर हिम्मत मत हारिए, क्योंकि गेम की तरह ज़िंदगी में भी कोई आएगा, आपको रिवाइव करेगा और एक ना एक दिन आपका बुया हो ही जाएगा। तो फ़ोन उठाओ, अपने दोस्तों से बात करो और गरीना फ्री फायर मैक्स खेलो।
For years, we brought justice to our city. We made mistakes, fought amongst ourselves. Many of us fell along the way.
I almost admire your perseverance, Tyson. You and I could have been a great team.
You'll never put your hands on my research. This ends today. You need to fight back. Sonya is controlling you.
No, old friend. She freed me.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, welcome to TEZ Free Fire Max India Cup 2025. My name is Crips, with me is Arka, and we are going to be witnessing some intense Free Fire Max action today. All the teams that have been working so hard up until now will finally find out if all their efforts will be rewarded or if their dreams will be ruined.
I mean, till yesterday, I did feel that T1 teams might ruin the dreams of the new underdogs, but it seems like it's starting to turn the other way around. We did see that yesterday there were a lot of disappointments, one of the primary ones being K9 as well as TSG. Both these teams, we were looking out to be one of the fan favorites to directly reach to the grand finals at the earliest. With all such unique things taking place or unexpected things taking place, I'm hoping to see today some good teams not being eliminated because they would have learned their lesson by watching the previous group.
Yep, I really hope that the teams have learned their lesson, because if they don't, well, then all the efforts that they've been putting in over the last few weeks will be ruined, because it is quite a long tournament. We started off on 13 July with the in-game FFC qualifiers, and right now we are in the final stages of the online qualifiers. It's the last day of online qualifiers. Only Group C will be playing today, and the teams who make it through will go to the league stage, which will span across 4 weekends in August and September.
Absolutely. Now, in August and September, that is where the big D takes place. That is where the big war takes place, because 18 of the best teams will be duking it out amongst 4 different groups to make themselves worthy of getting a spot in the grand finals. Let's not forget that there's another mode as well, which is going to take place with this Battle Royale mode. That is going to be CS mode, which is going to take place simultaneously on 5th September. And that's going to be the first week. And 12th September, that's going to be the second week.
Well, let's take a look at how much effort these guys will have to put in order to make it there, because we started off our journey in grueling FFC qualifiers, the in-game qualifiers, and the top 48 teams from there made it to this stage, the online qualifiers. In week 1 of online qualifiers, the teams were divided into 4 groups, 12 teams each. Only the top 9 teams will make it across, so that makes a total of 36 teams which will make it to week 2. Those will be further divided into 3 groups, and only the top 6 teams will make it to the league stage.
Yeah, and let me remind you that the league stage is now divided into 2 modes, as we have already explained you before. One is the class squad and the BR mode. But in the BR mode, it's going to be divided into 4 different weeks, which the first 2 weeks will have 3 days, where the next 2 weeks will have just 2 days. So from there on, they'll have to make themselves in the top 2 in the first, in the third and the fourth week to make it into the grand finals. And the last week, yes, the last day on the 4th week, 6 teams will go forward. So a total of 12 teams will be competing with one another in the grand finals.
Yeah. And that is the grand finals of the BR stage. But in the league stage, when we get there, only the top 8 teams overall from week 2 will get to play in the league stage of the class squad mode. The first few matches will be BO3, and then on day 2, the lower bracket finals and the actual finals will be a best of 5. That is just the league stage in the class squad mode. All the teams over there will then make it to the grand finals. 2 days of grand finals, 1 day for class squad, the other day for Battle Royale format. In the class squad, we're going to have 4 teams in a simple single elimination format from quarterfinals, semifinals, and then finals. And then obviously in the Battle Royale format, we will have the top 12 teams who will be playing with the Champion Rush condition. The Champion Rush condition is also quite simple. There will be a maximum of 10 games. In fact, the games might just end before that as well. It is possible that within like 4 or 5 games, we will be able to crown a champion. And why will that be possible? It's because the first team to reach the 80-point mark will activate the Champion Rush condition. Once the Champion Rush condition is active, all they need to do is win a booyah, and then they win the whole championship. If none of the teams who have Champion Rush activated, if they don't win it by the end of the 10th game, well, then we'll just crown the team with the highest number of points. And obviously the team with the highest number of points will take away the lion's share of this massive 1 crore prize pool.
Yeah. Again, we also have to speak about the Clash Squad having 20 lakhs amongst that 1 crore, as well as Battle Royale with 80 lakh rupees. Now, for those who are wondering how is this 80 lakhs divided, it's going to be coming on your screens anytime soon, because the champion team is going to be walking away with the biggest chunk. That means the team to be winning the grand finals is going to be walking away with almost half of that 80 lakh rupees, that is 40 lakh rupees. The first runner-up is going to get 15 lakh rupees. The second runner-up is going to get 7 lakh rupees, and then the number is going to just dwindle down until the 11th to the 12th position is going to walk away with just 50,000 rupees. The best part is nobody's walking away empty-handed, and the MVP is going to be rewarded with an additional 50,000 rupees for all the hard work he puts in the game.
Exactly. So if you make it to the finals, you are not walking away empty-handed. At the very minimum, you are getting 50,000 rupees in the Battle Royale. And even in the Class Squad mode, the team which finishes 8th, the lowest possible team, even if just they qualify for the Grand Finals, will walk away with a minimum of 40,000 rupees. Obviously, the champion takes away 10 lakhs, which is like half the prize pool dedicated for the Class Squad mode. And in the similar fashion, the further down you go the ladder, the less money you receive. But simply by qualifying to the grand finals, you have a chance of winning 40,000 rupees. So if you somehow make it to the top 8 of week 2, there's a chance that you will get the minimum requirement of the Battle Royale as well as the Class Squad as well. There's quite a lot of money at stake over here. And obviously, the way to get all this money is to get as many points as possible. Getting a booyah will get you 12 points. Similarly, coming second will give you 9. And the number of points keep going down as you, go down in the rankings. And the minimum points that you will get is like 1 point if you finish 10th. But the teams will have to balance out the placement points as well as the elimination points, because every elimination will grant you 1 point.
Yep, the 11th and the 12th position walking away with nothing is a bit of a disappointment, and they'll rely on those elimination points. But the tiebreaker rule also comes in, where teams with the most number of booyahs will be first considered, and then comes the most eliminations, and then comes the team which has got the best result in the most recent game. Coming back, the one unique active skill which is making things so much interesting in this tournament is going to make sure that each of these players will have just one active skill. So if your teammate has got one active skill, you can't repeat that. You'll have to choose a different active skill to make sure that the combination sits right, to build this energy within the team and to perform to its ultimate potential.
Yep. And this is going to be a very exciting day, mostly because of the number of teams playing today. 12 really good teams. And some of these names are the biggest in the Indian Free Fire Max community. NXT Headhunters now have become SATUL, will show us exactly what they're made of when they go up against other tier 1 teams like Remnant X Park, Team Tamilas, and the Captains. Team Tamilas also have now joined hands with PBS Gaming, so that is also another exciting collaboration that we're getting to see in the community. We also cannot forget teams like Car98 Army and Autobots, who have absolutely stacked lineups. Even NG Pros, for that matter, have lovely rotations. But the one team that I'm excited to see the most is Team Tycoons, because they just keep rushing everybody, and I love their aggression.
Speaking about aggression, we also have to speak about NG Pros, who did prove to us that firepower is all they can carry, and at any given point of time in this game, they can keep the best foot forward to pick as many eliminations as possible. Next comes the talk of the town, SATUL. This was previously a different org altogether. They did qualify, and after which got picked by one of the biggest orgs of the country, and now, I think they might have an added pressure of where they'll have to perform and make sure they step forward. Similarly goes to the side of Revenant X Park, where we have KD God. The prime contender for today's game would be KD God, because his shots has always been precise with the sniper, and now since the shotguns have lost a little bit of its power, we can expect him to be popping more skulls and getting more eliminations.
You also cannot forget about the captains, consisting of Nivesh and Bhagwan. For those of you who don't know who Bhagwan is, he's actually Mr. Jay YT. Some of you might recognize him from some of the older days. So the captains have a lot of experience in them. Even UGX Hanuman, we've seen some amazing stuff from them. My favorite players in this team are Kohli and Aryan, because these guys have some great aiming potential. Team Tamilas, there's just one player that I'm really scared of. It's Gutti, because when he starts going on a rampage, it's really difficult to stop him. Blaze X15, captain himself, leads from the front, and that way all the players who are in this lobby right now will have a pretty difficult time, because there's some really big names and there's some really strong teams in this lobby, and they will have to go through this grueling 6-map schedule. That's all that stands between them and the league stage.
Yep, the first map being Purgatory. More closer to the default maps could be Purgatory, and I think that it could give the right kind of starts for the team. But again, down the line, if the first 3 games don't go your way, you can again restart with Bermuda and Kalahari, because that is the most played map by any of these pros out there. And then Solaris, just in case you're still not able to put up points and you need a wildcard map which can go in your favor if you're prioritizing the center of the circle, then Solaris will be a right ending to you. But yes, the cutoff is being stood 60 for Group A and Group B. Cribs, do you feel that it's going to continue in Group C as well?
I think the cutoff might just be a little higher over here, because for some reason I'm getting the feeling that the disparity between the top 6 teams and the bottom 6 teams will be quite a lot. In fact, I think the top 3 teams will soar way above everyone else over the 100-point marker. So let's see what this group has in store for us. Generally, if you manage to get around 50 to 60 points, you should be in the clear. But again, there's no guarantee, because Free Fire Max is a cruel game, and this is going to be a very difficult match. So without further ado, let's hop into Purgatory, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to witness game number 1 from Group C. We will take to the skies now.
The skies, an interesting flight path altogether. For the first time, I'm seeing a little bit of a northern eastern inclined flight path, almost starting from the Moathouse region, ending between the campsite and Forge. This is where I can expect teams to kind of have a bit of a clash near that golf course region or the Brasilia region, because I don't think so team can make it to their drop location in case they have it at Villa, Golf Course or Central. So let's wait and watch for those early skirmishes. But yes, the early skirmishes have almost come to a standstill because of the new update, And this time around, since there are a lot of pros in this lobby, we'll wait and watch if somebody dares to do so.
A lot of teams near Brasilia. Are they all sure that they want to contest this area so hard? Because these fights look like they are going to hurt everybody. Phoenix Esports, Team Tamilas, you also have NG Pros, UG in the mix. There are just way too many people. This is going to get very, very rough, very, very quickly. Good team tries to take this fight. The Max 7 kind of doesn't work in his favor. Godfather comes in and slays him. Team Tamilas do get the first blood off the game, but I do feel bad for Phoenix Esports. Godfather, aim felt betrayed over there. There was no trade potential, no other player from his team around, so TMS just quickly managed to get that finish and get on their way.
I still feel that, you know, teams are starting to change their characters as well, because I can see some new set of characters. Yes, apart from those that of snipers, when I see Gopu and the rest, I see a very new character, Luna, being used. I mean, I have nothing against Luna, but in the combination, in the new update where you know that SMGs are going to help you better, why not choose Nikita over Luna?
Yeah, I mean, that is a good question. A lot of these teams have been experimenting a lot, and I mean, I've seen people use Nikita and still their dominant weapon turns out to be the M590 even after the nerf. So that is quite surprising. Although, what isn't surprising is KD God getting into an early skirmish. Wolvin goes down as well. X15 wiping the floor with one of the strongest teams in the lobby. Lumberyard claimed for themselves, but they don't have the full eliminations on Revenant X Spark yet. One of their last players managed to escape. So that's Lumberyard, you know, just going in the hands of Blaze X15. Back in Brasilia, Team Tycoons just continue their aggression. Amin with 21 HP still keen on going ahead. Oh no!
Oh,
he gets
he's
shot
gonna be
down.
punished for that.
Yeah.
He gets punished for it ruthlessly and gets confirmed as well, and that's the sad part.
Yeah, and the elimination did not even go to the team that he was fighting. He was shot down by Godfather from Phoenix Esports. NG Pros did not even get to see him.
Sad start. Now, as I was thinking as to why Luna and not Nikita, now I realize that when you're using Luna as a passive character, your movement speed increases as you take shots against the enemy. So probably people are feeling like, what if we are not able to get our hands on the Bison? What if we'll have to rely on Orc in that close range? And at that point of time, to trade against the firepower of Bison or an SMG, which has more firepower, fire rate, probably you'll have to, move around faster to avoid those bullets. And that's the reason why teams are trying to choose Luna over Nikita right now. But yes, all of that will be proven, as sometimes when you're trying to experiment in the game, you'll tend to learn the lesson the hard way. So I'm expecting teams over here, especially the T1 teams or the pro teams, to not be doing such small mistakes, but rather being careful. But for now, most of the teams are still being very, very cautious. Probably this is the first time in this entire tournament where we see that the lobby is starting off silent, and I feel it's the calm before the storm.
Yeah, the storm is definitely brewing on the horizon. In fact, I'm surprised that the storm was even, for the lack of a better word, delayed, because all these teams who landed in Brasilia have now gone their separate ways. Because there was a point I saw like some 5 teams in Brasilia at the minimum. I saw Phoenix Esports over there who have now moved away towards Mount Villa. There was a point when even Team Tycoons was over here, but now Team Tycoons just a little outside of Brasilia are hitting up the area near fields and spreading out across campsite as well. UG were on the higher grounds of Brasilia, move all the way over to its ski lodge. So all these teams landed in the center and then dispersed. So that's why I was expecting a lot of teams. But as you can see on the map, the southern fight might just begin once again. Blaze X15, they banished Revenant X Spark away from Lumber Mill, but they might just clash against them again near Fire Brigade.
Some skirmishes just to make sure that you have eliminations. Scary God starts things off, puts the player down, and immediately gets that confirmation as well. And so does his teammate. It seems like the intentions are clear. Pick up as many eliminations as possible, because since the elimination feed is not running too much in the final second, we can expect that teams will be going bonkers against one another. And with that early elimination, only few of these early elimination points is going to help you out. But for now, all the teams are still intact, TT. Team Tycoons might have lost a player. I do believe that they might be able to bring him back as quickly as possible.
Meanwhile, you can see Nivesh and Venom all behind one rock. Now trying to get away, but Anubhav, he is just so sharp. Shoots down Venom midair. Did they know that even his teammate Nivesh is there?
Oh no!
Cropsy finds him, and that's the captains eliminated. The first team to fall in the middle of their rotation. They didn't even properly clash. They just wanted to escape from campsite, but NG Pros leave nothing to chance. They take no prisoners.
Oh my goodness, captains being eliminated, the big names suffering early on in this week. I believe things are not going to look so good for them. Yes, the path of redemption is always in front of them. They can come back, retaliate the next game itself, try to compensate for whatever they've lost in the first game. But such a bad start might prick them in the later stages of this tournament. Let's wait and watch as to how the rest of these teams are going to react for it. Because slowly and steadily, we're able to see those teams where we were expecting to stay a little bit silent, fearing that of the T1 teams, are starting to look aggressive. Yes, UG, Hanuman, Kohli in deep troubles. Riptide Rhythm goes in to remove all the possible glue walls which are going to be deployed. Kohli down on his knees, immediately gets confirmed, as well as Adiraj is going to be leading that fight with that AC-80. Things are going perfectly fine for this player.
Yeah. Adiraj with 3 eliminations already. It's proving why he's the renowned sniper of his team. And Team Megastars, while they did not have a very impressive performance in week 1, they at least managed to qualify. And just by the skin of their teeth, now they are here to prove that they are much better than that. Qualification wasn't a fluke. Blaze X15, they make their way up towards Forge, and now they encounter UG. Aryan lands a lovely shot with the M24. That's Gopu out. Flash trying to get the trade. Won't be able to do much. You can see that Blaze X15 himself is near the tower. He's trying to get an angle. Can they somehow manage to get Gopu in time? Because Piyush might just not let that happen. Flash going in to help. Gopu does get picked up. Piyush trying to stop that rest from happening once again, but he's a little too late to the party. He does take down Amin, but once again, the revives for Team Tycoons will come through very quickly. Even Gopu comes back in for backup. And
No,
UG,
this is
they are now
proper team
distracted.
gameplay, Crips. Yep.
Yeah, this proper team
Completely
gameplay, but
agree.
while they were fighting Team Tycoons, UG have now started to focus on Blaze 16, which is just not desirable at all.
I mean, divided attention always brings a bad ending, and we have been seeing that happen in the previous games of this tournament itself. But yet, UG are still trying to pull the wrong cards. Probably they might have to face that music. But for now, Autobots, even they've got some decent early start. Sohel, I mean, I do understand that he's got the Kiba for a bit of information, but that combination of trying to use Alvaro with it, I believe is the right thing to do. Because when you know that you're just giving information at a distance, when it comes to close range, you'll have to do that initial damage using those troubles, which is starting to look so different in the later stages of this tournament. But yes, for now, RNTX have got their eyes set on their prey, and it seems like Phoenix need to be careful, or else they might burn in their own fire.
Now, this is just the second zone, and most of these guys have Ford equipped, so they don't need to worry about the play zone damage. They can go around the bridge. They can avoid Phoenix Esports, but will they be able to do so? KD God doesn't want to avoid them. He wants to eliminate them. Lovely shot. That's another confirmation over there. Luis stays outside the zone to cover them from the south. Meanwhile, you've got UG also trying to come in, and third party over here. What are they up to? Take a look at Piyush. He's trying to get a piece of the pie, but Wolvin goes in. You got the Riptide Rhythm coming in from afar, helping him get the angles onto Jat. But Sahil will finally get the trade. Wolvin back up, and they should be able to finish off these two members of Phoenix Esports. Now, luckily, that's not the full team elimination. They still have one lone player, Phoenix Esports, going for the 3-1 split. And because of that split, Shubham manages to survive, but not for long. Revenant Dexpark are hot on their heels. Just take the shot already.
And I wonder what's happening, because I did see that Shubham was kind of, try to avoid the fight with KD Gore, and then eventually he stayed silent even though he had a chance to escape. I don't know what went wrong, but I do believe that he's going to go around fighting with no rewards whatsoever. KD Gore as well, he played it very, very cautiously, and that is the maturity this player carries. When he knew that he could, push a little bit more to get one more elimination, he understood that somebody from UG is trying to backfire. And that's why he got himself into safety first and then thought of taking those fights. This is going to be the tail coming from one side, whereas on the other side, Autobots, they are also quick in picking up those frags. They've already got 5 in their name, and it seems like they're chasing some more right now.
And they're going to be chasing tails all day long, as long as it gets them points. SHUL getting into a fight against Car98 Army. Interesting, because I thought Car98 Army were trying to avoid the Megastars, but now Megastars also are facing the wrath of SHUL. Oh my goodness, SHUL, they do not discriminate. They want everybody. Take shots in every direction, control this entire northern periphery of the circle. Lovely confirmation onto Praveen, and that is another frag for SHUL. But meanwhile, on the other end of the map, UG get eliminated, and I've been questioning their moves right from the get-go because they were trying to button on way too many fights, clearly biting off more than they could chew.
And I wonder why they didn't go in for the nearest vending machine to revive one of the players at least. I do understand that, sometimes you need to be alive and kick in the middle of the circle, but somewhere things have not gone their way. But one team which is, enjoying this high ground advantage they've got is going to be SHUL, as the COG is going to be singing Songs of Death. K9 are just on the verge of being eliminated. Sid, the last man standing, trying to do his best as Team Megastars come in closer. It's going to be the Megastars getting eliminated. Oh my goodness, they couldn't bear the wrath of the blue. The late rotation is starting to haunt players who are taking things very lightly in the first game itself.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens when you get stuck between Car98 Army and SHUL and outside the zone. I mean, in the fourth circle, even if you have Ford equipped, it's still gonna sting quite a lot. SHUL trying to hold on to that sniper tower for as long as they can, delaying the rotation for as much as possible. Blaze X15 using the Chrono Shield so beautifully, dancing around it. He at least manages to get one elimination before he falls to the dust, and that's the elimination of Blaze X15 as well. Hey, but at least he got one elimination point before he finally died, so better than nothing. Gopu gets shot down by Mac in the middle of that traversal, instantly confirmed as well. The AWM is just a little too sharp over here. Even Sohail has angles. So at this point, everybody's just indiscriminate. Car98 Army were laughing because they were making sure Megastars get eliminated, but they too get eliminated in the same fashion. And Mayank with the Uzi is just going berserk.
Absolutely, and look at what the snipers are doing in this lobby. They're just waiting for small pixels to be visible, and once they understood that now is the time for them to shine, Mysterious is going to be stepping forward, making things much more interesting for his team. 12 eliminations strong is what Autobots are looking right now. They've already got the average for this map, but how will they convert this game? We'll have to wait and watch. Grenade launchers being used over here. One good one is going to be landing right into the pockets of the opponents, and another team walks away from this lobby.
4v3, NG Pros having less numbers will probably want to make sure that they can make up for it with their positioning, but SHUL are racing them into the zone. They use the launch pads, and there's plenty of tents that you can get as cover. They will probably just lay claim on one of them. Autobots, on the other hand, are still in the zone. In fact, they have most control over the next circle, and they should be in a good enough position if they can hold on to this area. But they're focusing all their attention on NG Pros, rightfully so, because they want to stop them from getting into the zone. But SHUL have already made their way inside. NG Pros jump towards the center. At this point, even SHUL are going back, backtracking, and trying to trace their footsteps to get the confirmations on NG Pros. Blue wall melters deployed. Every piece of cover has been eliminated. Cropsy, Anubhav separated from the rest of their rushers. Now these two players have to somehow hold on, but SHUL are simply just not offering them any fights. They dip away from that fight, going around the other side of the tents.
Oh, this is what I call make my enemy's enemy my friend, and that's what they did. Autobots, they allowed them to go pounce upon NG Pros, get themselves eliminated, and then they start to take advantage of the four-man standing from their side. Autobots, they were clever enough to, again call back one of their teammates who are looking unstoppable. Sohail in the close range with the Liquid. They're going to be trying to go in for a trade game. They do become successful with it, but Mayank with that UC will be doing so much of damage. Bowel, the last man standing, he needs to be careful because Divine is at a distance with that shotgun. Mysterious still trying to do his best. They leave Marvel to breathe as they move forward to the center of the circle. Divine gets taken down. Marvel, the last man standing. Mysterious says, this guy is mine. They step in closer, put an end for this squad as well, entertain that booyah. What a beautiful gameplay coming in from their side. Choose your player one at a time, execute, bring that surgical strike in such a way that people are going to remember you for a long time. Autobots, they have done a phenomenal job attaining this booyah.
Lovely performance from the Autobots, handling the pressure of both these teams really, really well. As soon as they saw NG Pros go over towards the other side, they knew for a fact that they just need to close the distance between them and NG Pros, and they would be completely sandwiched. And as soon as they saw that SATUL were dipping out of that fight, they were moving away, they realized that they can let them go away. They did not feel the desperation to chase them. They were very clear on their objectives. And even in that final fight, as soon as they figured out that Marvel is busy healing, he won't be able to help out his teammates. So they were like, okay, let's focus on X Divine first. We know that Marvel is not going to be able to trade. We know he's healing. He's not going to be in any position to fight anytime soon. So they just have really good objectivity in that fight. They really just prioritize which target is more important, and they chase after him and never overextend. Great performance from Autobots.
I mean, as I said, a surgical strike to watch out for. And I do believe that, from the time they understood that Soul is going to evade from that fight, they pounced upon NG Pros, thinking that, they might be on the receiving end of things. But, the final shot is going to explain a lot of things over here. Sohail in the beginning did go in for an early trade, but ultimately what happened was this player, Mac, from a distance, he couldn't connect that many shots initially, and due to which it turned out to be a very different story altogether. But Mayank with that Uzi in that close range, oh my goodness, he was unstoppable.
Absolutely unstoppable. Mayank, I did not think that the Uzi could be used to such an explosive degree. Great stuff by Autobots. 33 points for them with 21 eliminations. Oof, that is some really good stuff. That's what happens when you stay in control of that last ring. You can get shots on everybody. SATUL close second with 15 points. NG Pros, again, barely any difference between them and SATUL at 14. Team Tycoons, while they did get eliminated quite early on, they were aggressively chasing down a bunch of teams, so they have plenty of points to their name with 12. And Blaze X15, responsible for the device of Revenant X-Spark, find themselves at 10.
I mean, when you have one team taking 21 eliminations and the rest of them are just trying to contribute, this is what happens. The maximum eliminations after 21 is 7 is what I see from that of Revenant X-Spark, where the rest of them are shared 6 points each. It all comes down to who has the more placement points, and I do believe that they're going to be happy with the kind of early points they've got for themselves. But for now, in this map of Purgatory, the MVP is going to be Sohail. I believe that Oscar as well as the Thiva combination is really good. The Joseph as well, because when you're being that support player but still you're able to pick up frags, you need to also revive your teammates simultaneously, and that has been the secret for the side of ABZs.
Yeah. And the secret is now out. Let's see if anybody else uses this secret to exploit their weakness, if at all there is any. Plenty of emphasis on movement over here as they use Tatsuya as well as Oscar. And as you can see, only 2 of their players have Thiva equipped, so they are more focused on aggression rather than reviving first, which is quite nice. Even Koda is being used, so quite a lot of focus on information. Beastin in the hands of Mayank, so they can go ahead and lob those grenades. But he's also got Maro equipped, since that will help him get this extra damage with the snipers at range. So quite a lot of mix of abilities over here. Not a very conventional setup as most of you would have seen in the previous games, but that's what makes them unique. That's what makes them Autobots.
Absolutely. They have read this properly. I think they've done the homework right, and they have been rewarded for it. Sohail with 9 eliminations, Mysterious with 4, because he was the one who did the maximum damage in that final circle. Right with him is going to be Mac from a distance with the sniper, was able to support his teammate. Mayank was also out there in between supporting his teammates. And when we look at the game summary, we understand better. Even though the damage being dealt is lesser, the amount of glue walls have already crossed 100 mark, and I do believe that we can expect some more controlled aggression gameplay, some mature gameplay coming in the further games from this group as well.
Oh, definitely a lot more can be expected in this group. This is just the first game, and 36,000 damage is kind of tame. We've seen games go across the 50,000 damage mark, so I'm expecting to see a lot more of that. 83 knocks with 64 eliminations, which means approximately 20 eliminations or so did go to waste. I hope that number reduces and the teams are way more efficient in that. But we are done with the first game of the day. 33 points for Autobots as they take the Booyah in Purgatory. Coming up next is gonna be Nextera.
Yeah, Nextera, an interesting set of affair here, because if Autobots are able to replicate another 30-pointer, they'll be qualifying into the next round with just 2 games, because the cutoff, as we discussed, might cross 60, but when you're closer to that in the first 2 games itself, that is where, you know, everything is fallen in place for you. But Nextera, and then you have Alpine, 2 of the not so default maps coming on our screens. What are your expectations, Clips? Do you think that those teams who have not done so great in the previous game will be able to bounce back? Because the default maps is what most of the teams will rely on for a comeback.
I mean, at this point, if the teams are still, relying on one map to be good for them, one map to be just like a throwaway map, then it's really not going to work. You need to be strong on all the maps at this point. I know that there are some teams who prefer to play maps like Purgatory, Kalahari more than the others because they are just so used to it, and maybe they didn't get enough time to prepare for Solara, but it's been out for like a month now, more than that actually, and at this point you can't really use that as an excuse. So if you are not able to adapt to those new maps, well, then you are setting yourselves up for a loss, because that would make it so that you can only perform in like 50% of the maps, and that is really less. I mean, 6 games alone is not enough to prove how good of a team you are, and if out of those 6 maps you can't perform on 2 or 3 of them, well, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have fire, that is where, you know, you need to be prepared. You need to be cautious. You can't search for water when you are on fire. So I do believe that, you know, from here on, there are going to be few teams who will be learning the lesson the hard way, who's going to be coming back stronger, bouncing back stronger in case they're getting eliminated. That's what we're hoping to see eventually. But for now, those who have put in the hard work, they are actually reaping benefits in this game as well. We saw RNTX, they relied completely on those elimination points. They had 9 eliminations at the get-go itself. That shows that, you know, they are close to that average of 10 by eliminations itself. So in case things go fine for them, they'll be getting a very big game with the Booyah.
Yeah, indeed. But I also want to make sure that some of these teams understand when they are in a tough spot and when they know that they're going to get eliminated. I'm referring to Blaze X15 over here. It was so funny that the captain of that team decided to go in for an execution right as he got shot down, because he knows he's not going to get out of this place. He knows he's going to die. Might as well take at least 1 point with me before I go out. So there will be several situations over here on Nextera as well when a team gets completely screwed over by the zone. So they just have to recognize and cut their losses short and focus on eliminations more. Whether they actually successfully do that or whether they die trying, we will see as we hop into Nextera, ladies and gentlemen. The second game of the day is gonna be on your screens anytime soon. The players are ready, they're in the lobby, and the plane has taken off.
Oh yes, the flight taken off, and for the one last time we're going to be having the beautiful view of this map, because after which it's going to be filled with boxes here and there where teams will be looking out to get themselves the Booyah. But again, the early skirmishes, could that be the reason why few teams are not able to put up more than 10 points on the board from the get-go? That question is going to be answered, because as quickly as possible, you need to adapt to the current meta, and then and only then, as quickly as possible, you need to understand how your group plays, and then and only then you'll be able to, you know, perform better in the maps to come. But yes, this map is going to be a very interesting affair. For the first time, Farmtopia is going to be completely empty. Mortar Ruins is one of those places I was expecting a skirmish, but it has happened somewhere to the southern western side of the map, somewhere near Grave Labs.
First blood. Grave situation for them here in Grave Labs, but oh my goodness, take a look at that angle from Godfather. Not the best weapon at that distance, but he's still doing quite a lot of damage. He could have been successful in providing Shubham some backup, but sheesh, all the bots are hot on momentum from their win in the previous game. And even though Godfather had a lovely angle, even though they had a pseudo crossfire between him and Shubham, it just simply won't be enough. And Autobots will take control of Grave Labs for themselves. I mean, Godfather is still up there on top. They might just repel him away, or maybe he will try to escape. Let's see if he's doing that successfully, because Autobots are quite spread out now. Like, if you want to isolate those fights and take those individual gunfights, you might just be able to do so.
No, whereas on the other side of the lobby, I did see that Revenant X Park were getting decimated, and I believe that they have already lost 2 players and they're on a hunt. But some way or the other, Wolverine is successfully able to bring back 2 of his players, and UG are also getting themselves busy with another fight at the center of the map, right next to Farmtopia, as Abhi right now has got a confirmation against Vati, making things a little bit interesting as Team Tamilas are on the receiving end of things, but Kuti at the end point goes in for the revival of his complete squad.
UG, I really hope they don't overextend this time. They've got Farmtopia for themselves as of now. The UAV doesn't show them much, nor the teams next to them. That being said, the rotations have already begun. While UG have Farmtopia under their control, I can see S8UL flying in towards the other end of Farmtopia using the launch pad in an intellect center. Meanwhile, Team Tamilas peacefully walking around Decca Square, not realizing the danger is right around the corner. Now they get shot down by one member of Team Tycoons, although they're not the only ones over here.
Team Tycoons, a team with a lot of expectations, are now kind of missing those shots under pressure. They're unable to perform. Gopu, I've not seen him miss much, but this time around he did miss a lot of shots, and that means in the later stages of this tournament, which might come back to haunt him in case they do not get enough points on the table. But yes, for now, it's going to be Flash and Gopu, both of them. They need to work hand in hand like how they have done in the previous rounds. Since there's been a bit of a change in the update, I can still feel that teams are wanting to stay away from one another to take those fights. But Divine, he connects shots against Aryan, gets a confirmation as well, and immediately shifts over to the other player, gets that confirmation also.
And he just doesn't seem to stop. S8UL have no intentions of letting these guys go. They really want this elimination, so they're chasing them to the ends of the earth. On the other hand, Phoenix Esports have been eliminated. A rather sad and early demise for them. Kohli just about escapes by the skin of his teeth. Arsh knows he's very low on health. He's going to try to chase him from above the rafters. And Licky finds him. That's the elimination of Kohli as well. UG once again falling like flies. Abhi. Oh my god, he is in so much danger. Right behind that tree. Arsh and Marvel from downstairs are going to go after him. Meanwhile, from above, you've got one more player shooting down. X-Divine trying to get angles. And if that's not enough, he's going to incinerate him. Marvel lands the final shot with that sniper. The ACAT doing God's work as he gets one more elimination. And S8UL have no intention of letting UG go. Finally,
UG, I do believe that Aryan...
all this.
Yeah, but Aryan and Abhi's, intentions were clear. They're going to buy time to their teammates so that they can get off from this place and try to go to the nearest revival point. And I believe that has been a very successful strategy coming in from their side. And slowly and steadily, we're able to see that most of these teams are able to bring back all their players. TT as well, at one point of time where I thought that they are on the verge of eliminations, even they found the nearest vending machine and they've also called in for backup. So that means from here on, we can expect the complete lobby to start fighting yet again from ground zero.
I don't know about ground zero, but these guys are definitely hitting the ground. NG Pros in quite a lot of trouble as Team Tamil has turned up the heat, but they're not the only ones in danger over here. Even the captains have come into party.
Oh no!
And captains will be responsible for the elimination of NG Pros. But will they be able to take on Team Tamilas head on? Venom and Bhagwan, while these two players are the frontliners for the team, the remaining members of captains are still quite far away from them.
Oh, the clever move. Hit and run is what captains are looking out for right now. Nivesh is going to be revived. Bhagwan and Venom, they're going to try to do their best to buy the maximum time possible. But Kuti says, you know what, once you're in my crosshair, I'm not going to let you breathe. As Bhagwan gets taken down and finished off. The other two players just revealed their location to Wati. And I do believe that the kind of aggression Team Tamilas are showing right now, they're going to chase these players down to the very end of this circles and then probably try to get more eliminations. Venom in deep trouble. That means now Nivesh will have to be very careful on his survival. Bhagwan as well. They'll have to get into a very good spot. But Team Tamilas, look at them chase behind this solo eliminations. Desperacy to its pinnacle.
Yeah, they really want those points. Quite desperate about them. Change the angles of the launch pad so they can adjust their interception. But UG Hanuman also get eliminated. And this has been a problem that they've been facing since Purgatory. They are just too split apart for their own good. There's no trading potential between any of their teammates. And they just get taken down one by one. At this point, Team Tamilas give up on the chase. They are no longer pursuing the captains. They decide to go towards the zone instead because it's quite far. Take a look at that.
An early shift towards the northern western side of the map. Probably only 2-3 teams were able to predict this, especially Seoul. You know, they tried to take command over the Formtopia region. As soon as they got it, now they're going to be rewarded with the center of the circle as well. Even though a binocular has been used on them at the nearest revival point so that the other teams do know that there's a team nearby. Most of these players will now try to play it as safe as possible because those early eliminations is going to give them liberty to survive until the final moments of this game. 5 eliminations is what SATUL have got for themselves. But when it comes to the captains, since they were trying to run away from one team, it seems like they've got into the jaws of another.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire. In this case, straight into the crosshairs of the captains. Flash, down and out. Unlikely that he's going to get rezzed. There could be vending machines at their disposal, but Hitman already hits the switch. Yep, like I expected. He's going to get his teammate back up. Oh, but Nivesh, oh, that's a lot of trouble. Amin has an angle on them, and now Amin comes out into the open. Venom tries to get the revenge frag. Glue walls deployed. Going on the other side. He's trying to get an alternate angle onto Venom, and Venom needs to get out of here. Otherwise, he's going to get surrounded. And he does get shot down. But that's Gopu. As expected, Gopu on the flank. Venom.
Double takedown.
He was supposed to be the Overwatch guy.
Absolutely. And look at what's happening on the other side. Captains, they're waiting for an opportunity to somehow wait from this fight. And once they get an opportunity, they do it. And both the players are very much outside of the circle, apart from that of Nivesh, who just got revived mid-air. He's going to be shot at and he's going to be paying the price for coming out in the open. And this time it's going to be the side of Team Tycoon showing us that they are also capable of getting 9 to 10 eliminations even before entering the final circle. But the captains, how are they going to make it inside the circle? Do they have the right kind of characters and the inventory to heal themselves and make it through? Because Nivesh for now gets revived yet again. And he's the primary player who's right now inside the circle. So the others can, from a distance that is outside of the circle, even though they get taken down, can somehow be revived from the player from inside of the circle. But that's a story to tell later on. But for now, SATUL now concentrating on the complete squad of Team Tamilas, who have become their uninvited neighbor at the Formtopia region. As SATUL, again, a controlled aggression coming in from their side. Something which I love to see, because you know that this is the kind of update where you need to prioritize the center of the circle. And I believe that's rewarding for them as well, because they're picking up frags after frags as Team Tamilas are in the crosshairs of Divine. Another player gets taken down. ACAT, it's going to be singing the songs of death.
Yeah, Marvel does get shot by another team, but that's not a problem for them at all. They want to continue focusing their attention towards Team Tamilas because Team Tamilas is probably the only team who's got elevation over them. No other team and enjoys that elevation. And take a look at the circle. Once again, it's shifting right towards SAQL. They are smack in the center of it. Whether they get the booyah or not, they have a position from where they can get a bunch of finishes. But even Autobots want all those finishes. Lovely shots connected. One more team bites the dust, and now their next targets are going to be Revenant X Spark.
Revenant X Spark, they need to be live. They use the UAV to get as much info as possible. And one amongst them was deployed inside the building to get to know who was there. Is there some lurking snake hiding right around this region? But once they get a confirmation that nobody is close by, Katie God steps out of cover and tries to make it inside the circle. And let me remind you, even though they're very much close to the circle, it's not like they have the complete foot inside of it. So Autobots, as always, would want to clear their backlines, make sure that nobody is there, around their shoulder, so that they can concentrate completely on the team in front of them. So Autobots, they're going to keep an eye on RNTX, and so does the side of RNTX.
Yeah. Now, teams like RNTX, Autobots, these guys are on the edge of the zone, right? So they don't need to worry about their backlines. They don't need to worry about getting flanked or anything. They only need to take a look at the teams in front of them. Much less mental bandwidth required that way. SAQL, on the other hand, they're in the center of the circle. So while that has advantages of its own, it's also quite risky because you can get rushed from any direction. These guys will have to devote 4 of their players to take a look at all 4 directions because there's teams everywhere around them and anybody could decide to rush them at any point. A mistimed rush could ruin the game for both SAQL as well as the team that rushes them, and that's why, to minimize the risk, they are diversifying their positions. Even though the compound is the same, they have split up between 2 different houses. Arsh and Marvel in one, Licky and X Divine in the other. Nivesh called in. Oh no, he's landing right in the middle of car 98. And even Bhagwan gets found. Oh, that is a disaster for the captains.
Venom trying to do his best again and again. All he's doing is trying to revive his teammates, get to the nearest vending machine, but what he misses out is the number of tokens. And I do believe that if he's got enough, this is the one last time he'll be able to revive his teammates. Is it even possible is the question which is living in my mind right now, whereas the circle is going to be shifting away from all those prime teams like Autobots, Revenant X Spark and Soul, TG, that's going to be Team Tycoons will now be at the center of this circle, and they have the high ground as well with that of Team Tamilas. So both these teams are going to be the primary fan favorites to get this booyah for themselves.
Autobots versus Revenant X Spark. These 2 teams had the edge to themselves, and now these will have to contest each other. Revenant X Spark pushing in towards Autobots. Mayank leading the charge. Meanwhile, Revenant X Spark are getting shot by SAQL as well from the distance, so they have to fight 2 teams at once. It's a bombardment of grenades. The artillery going wild. Revenant X Spark pulling out all the stops. They try to isolate Mayank because he's frozen solid. Mayank finds the angle onto Luis. Wolvin tries to get the trade. He just simply cannot. He's a little late to the party. Lovely shot. Wolvin, 180 degrees, spins around to Mayank and gets him with the M590. Oh my goodness, Sahil gets the final shot. Autobots are out, and Revenant X Spark control the periphery of this zone. They don't have time to sit and heal, so they're just going to use the treatment guns and get each other patched up. There is a launch pad available as well, so they can go flying in. But wait, that would be risky, so they are going to walk in. The only team shooting at them right now is SAQL. Now SAQL 2 have to give up on their compound, which was towards the center at one point. No. But take a look at this. They're flying in. X-Divine, Licky, Marvel, everybody just pouring in. And now 4 teams are sharing this one tiny spot. A fraction of farms will be under their control. But SAQL get trapped. Team Tycoons and Car 98 both converge upon them, and SAQL have been eliminated.
I mean, wasn't that expected? Just jumping into the building with no proper information is going to put an end for them. But Amin, he's going to do a 1v3 with the grenade? Are you serious right now? At the most least expected time, he puts up a grenade, gets so many confirmations, 14 eliminations already, and 7 of which is done by a single player. I mean, K9, K98 on the other side, even they get decimated. RNTX, a surgical strike which we spoke about from the side of Autobots is now being done by the side of RNTX, slowly and steadily, understanding the circle, trying to be at the peripheries of the circle, now prioritizing to get to the center of the next upcoming circle. They need to be careful because they need to wait out for the side of TTs, both the TTs to face off one another. One is Team Tycoons versus that of Team Tamilas.
4v, 3v2, descending numbers, cascading glue walls, and Revenant X Spark have the hay bales for protection. Revenant X Spark will have to move first though. Both Team Tamilas as well as Team Tycoons, they can afford to stay indoors because the zone shift kind of favors them. And now Revenant X Spark will be forced to come closer. Kuti lands the first knock. Wolvin down on his knees. And I know that Team Tamilas don't enjoy the best position right now because Team Tycoons can probably get to the zone faster and TMS will be forced to drop down. But at least they can ruin the game for Revenant X Spark by taking pot shots at them and stopping them in the middle of their rotations.
No, that's not happening right now. All these teams are slowly and steadily using the covers. They've got to make it in the center of the circle. But again, the next set of moment is going to be coming on our screens anytime soon. Revenant X Spark is the only team who's got some kind of a cover to work around with. Right next to them is a tent, which is at the eastern side of Wolverine. Whereas the TTs, Team Tamilas, they choose to jump right to the center of the circle. They can be shot at very, very easily by that of Team Tycoons. But some way or the other, they also find themselves some hard cover. And now this could be big trouble for the side of Team Tycoons.
Team Tycoons now forced to move. They were trying to take pot shots at Team Tamilas. They did manage to get the finish onto Crown, but Kuti still survives. 3v4v1. Sahil leading the charge against Hitman. Up close, M82B and AWM. Hitman connects the first shot onto Sahil. Now Sahil tries to get away, hoping that the glue walls will save him, but many players have more cooperative, and he can't make it in cover in time. Oh wait, Wolvin uses his glue walls to help Sahil get another lease of life, but they won't let it happen. Wolvin down. KD God hops into the truck. He drives away, but those wheels will become his coffin. And now it's all up to Kuti. 1v4. Amin should be easily picked up over here, but it seems like Team Tycoons are heading to an inevitable booyah.
Absolutely, a very, very well executed gameplay coming in from their side. And Team Tamilas, all they can do is right now not give this one extra elimination point to their opponents, because that could be weighing heavier. But Kuti, he's got nothing to do. He's trying to do his best to pick at least one elimination point to his teammates. Will he be successful with it? No, he won't be, as a very dominating booyah lands into the hands of Team Tycoons. These young bloods have proven to us that sometimes all it takes is that firepower, all it takes is the throwables, because one good throwable is equivalent to two full of mags being connecting against the opponents.
Amazing performance from Team Tycoons. They have been one of the most aggressive teams on the lobby from the get-go. Even in week 1, I criticized them for being a little too greedy, for being a little too aggressive, sometimes ruining their own games and the games of everyone else. But when their aggression is channeled in the right direction, they get the booyahs, they get all the eliminations and all the glory as well. Really great game for Team Tycoons, finally showing us what they are made of. I believe this might just be their first booyah in the entire tournament, and oh boy, it's against some big names, against Revenant X Spark as well as Team Tamilas.
I mean, you saw the way they played that game, right? Even the final circles, they were very composed. They knew that that corner of the circle will always be helping them out. All they have to do is just hold their ground. And once the teams will decide to make it inside of the circle, that is when we'll try to fortify ourselves at the very center. One small mistake with Revenant X Spark did is not using that hard cover tent which they had for themselves. For some reason, they thought that they can take down Team Tycoons as they make it to the center of the circle, but it came like an out of syllabus question which they couldn't answer.
Yep, nobody else could have those answers. Even Team Tycoons at one point seemed to be in a lot of trouble because Revenant X Spark was full sending it upon them. But they managed to handle all that pressure. They got the eliminations onto Revenant X Spark, and Revenant X Spark was even getting shot by SA2L in the middle of their rush, so they kind of had a lot of help from other teams as well. And Team Tycoons' tempered aggression nets them a 30-pointer game. It is really impressive to see these young lads step up and get the booyahs. 31 points for them. Revenant X Spark, 10 eliminations, so that puts them at 18 points. Team Tamilas, not a lot of eliminations to their name, but they did finish second, so 9 placement points brings them at 13. Kar 98 Army, on the other hand, balanced game, 12 points. Quite behind them are SHUL. I mean, SHUL had the central compound for the longest time and they had such a good position. I just wish that they capitalized on it more to get more eliminations instead of just focusing on the placement alone, because we've seen very often that the teams who have the best position in the center often get focused on first, especially when the zone shifts away from them.
But they did walk into a trap. I don't know how come they thought that nobody could be there at the ground floor of that building. All they had to do was just step in over there, and they were fired at from 4 different directions. But it's good for us to say that apart from Team Tycoons, the rest of the experienced teams are there from the 2nd to the 6th position. That shows that slowly their momentum is building up, where the youngsters will have to catch up to it. But for now, Amin is going to be that highest damage dealer and the MVP of this game, all thanks to that Alvaro and Beastin, which we kept specifying from the moment this update has come.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time we are seeing someone's primary weapon, someone's most deadly weapon be the nades, because usually people have either the Bison or the M590 equipped, and that's what shows up as their most lethal weapon. But here we see him use grenades as the primary source of damage. I mean, he's really living up to the nader potential of that Beast and Alvaro ability, really helping him out. Even Flash, for that matter, helped his teammates get some really important frags. His flanking and his rushing was on point. Tatsuya dashing to make sure that Revenant X-Pac get completely uncomfortable. Even in the end, when they were fighting against Team Tamilas, Flash was the one who was going on the flank. So that's amazing. Gopu, he helped his teammates get a lot of frags onto the captains using that Oscar dash and flanks. So that was also amazing. Hitman obviously being the highest damage dealer, as he's the sniper of the team.
I mean, it all comes down to who contributes the most in the team, right? But Team Tycoons are one of those teams who understand the strength of each other, and that is where they are not greedy of getting those eliminations. What they do is try to support that player at the closest to the enemies. Once they understand that he's got that potential to pick up eliminations, that is when the rest of the team starts to support him, and that is how Amin was able to land some beautiful grenades, which the T1 teams are going to remember for a long time. Total glue wall destroyed is going to again increase by its number, so does the longest elimination distance. But the one thing which I am lacking to see is the total damage crossing the 50,000 mark.
Yeah, man, what happened to that 50k? We're really looking forward to that juicy 50k number. It's been a while since we've seen that. Although, I must say that the bigger problem over here is that there's 87 knocks but only 69 eliminations. Quite a lot of opportunities missed over here. And that also means there were a lot of revives, which kind of makes sense since Nextera always lets team do that. Even Kalahari is one of those maps where you will see a lot more knocks than eliminations. But let's take a look at the overall standings so far and see where these teams are after the first 2 games. Ooh, not much difference between Autobots and Team Tycoons. 44 and 43. Both the teams with the Booyahs just 1 point apart. Revenant X-Pac closely behind them, with SAUL snapping on their heels. The 2 most popular teams with 27 and 26 points respectively, followed by Team Tamilas, 22. NG Pros at 20. And it seems like the only team who was expected to do well but aren't doing well are the captains and Phoenix Esports. Everybody else seems to be living up to their expectations.
Absolutely, and so does the side of Hanuman as well, because captains, the experience, they need to bring it into action. They need to understand the lobby as quickly as possible, and that's what the experienced teams bring into the picture, right? When you know the team is not doing well, you have already been in that situation before, and now you know how to counter strategize, how to make sure that your teammates are feeling comfortable to come out at a certain situation. Probably Bermuda and Kalahari is where we could see the captains try to bounce back, but UG Hanuman, again, the same kind of fate what they had in the previous rounds. They were trying to do their best in the beginning rounds of the games. They couldn't do so, but suddenly in the last 3 games, they come up with a bonker of a gameplay where they get around 20 to 25 points and they qualify through. But the one condition is there, it was the top 9 getting qualified, it's the top 6 getting qualified. So they'll have to do it a little bit earlier, or else they might get that early ticket out of this tournament.
Exactly. I mean, we did see some last-minute comebacks yesterday, but that again, you can't do what Token Gaming did yesterday. You can't make that big jump. So I hope that the teams over here focus on consistency more. We will be jumping into more games, and these teams will have to show us consistency across the day. But game number 3 will be on your screens after a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Group C is so damn tough that it's very much difficult to even figure out which of these teams are having a good time. Every 2 games now that we have had, it seemed and told us a different story. A couple of teams, maybe they had a really good game, they continued their play style, but it's not the same story for everybody. Welcome back to TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2025. My name is Lucifer. With me is going to be Tanya, and we are back to bring you Game 3, which is going to be on Alpine. How are you feeling about that, Tanya?
Well, talking about how am I feeling, it's all about Team Tycoons and Autobots coming very close, just a point away. And talking about other teams, well, they are gridlocked from position 3 until 6. But let's have a look on the map schedule, because we've already seen 2. We have 2 more to go with me and Sam. This is going to be the 3rd map for the day, and it's Alpine, one of the prettiest map in the box. And talking of which, the fights are not going to be pretty, because I personally feel, Sam, that now they are going to bring in something unique, because they want to make sure they qualify. Yesterday we did see the brutal eliminations, and everybody wants to save themselves from something as such.
I hands down agree to that. Yesterday's games and the match of Group A and B that we saw was a heartbreak for some. Some did joyous celebration, but it's not done yet. But here in Group C, as we already spoke about, not too sure which team to not count, which team to count, because everybody is trying to play their best cards, but especially the teams who are getting themselves the Booyah, Tanya, they're taking a 30 plus total points in their favor, but the next second team, they're barely around the 20 mark. They're at 15, 18, meaning the other teams are unable to get a lot of points, and teams such as the Captains may be a little better than the previous game that they had, but take Phoenix back-to-back, not good. UG X Hanuman there as well. Now when we jump into game 3, the segue to 50%, what's going to happen?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2025, and Sask Airline is going to take us to the map of Alpine. This is the new OB50 update, which I'm totally loving, because this is a unique set of flight which is taking players to the different locations. Talking about the flight path though, it looks very trivial, nothing unique out of it, so spread out should be very easy and comfortable. But something that is uncomfortable is the grounds on the stadium. We do spot RNTX and X15 nearby.
X15, they had a very early elimination in the previous game, so they have to stabilize here. Game 3 crucial for points for everybody. UAV used, meaning they will have an idea that there is a team very close by. Revenant X Spark on the other end. They've been grabbing points, Tanya. Nothing much to be worried about in their favor. But the fight is not only in that direction. Even in base camp, Team Tycoons, who just got the Booyah, now being contested with UGX Hanuman.
Well, this is a quick escalation of game that is happening right now. And talking of which, I wasn't expecting that RNTX are going to immediately jump on the grounds of stadium and bring in the worst for Team X15, and they get the first blood. They get the first blood. It is and Blaze have realized that they do not need to pick up such fight. They do not need to rush in, because not having good games doesn't mean you should continue to do so. And I spotted Homer in the mix. Now this is for the first time I spotted Homer character ability being involved to get all the information, alongside which Heal UAV is also deployed. RNTX looks pretty ready to evacuate Team X15.
Blazes 15 in trouble. Blackie, he's the last man surviving position known. They're all rushing towards him. Katie God and Wolvin. A nade on the hand, thrown across, and Blackie needs to make a quick run. Puts up a Blaze glue wall to protect the Blaze name for now. But back-to-back 2 games and early elimination should be the cause of concern. Can he do something? 1v4 right now. All the 4 players right in front of him. And there's nothing. Trogan, P90, everything being fired against one sole player. And he could do nothing. And that's the first and the, again, early elimination of Blaze X15. Meaning no points in the back 2 previous games. And game 3 is also the similar storyline. Blaze X15 in big, deep troubles.
But I do see one more team who is under trouble, which is Amin, the previous map's MVP, picking, and it's going to be Ungraduate Gamer X Hanuman picking up fights against Team Tycoon. On which direction will it go? Kohli trying to split up, and his eyes are all on Amin. Sure, heal gun will be used. Amin will be back on his HP, and it's the split of 1:1:1, which doesn't look so favorable to me. Gopu will use the glue wall to cover himself for a while. Kohli taking one step at a time, but look at Piyush. They've already flanked. Kohli will be spotted and taken down, and Gopu will also be taken down because Piyush, they had a sneakier approach. They made sure that all the eyes will be on one player, which is Gopu. On the course, two players will just aggress and push in. Team Tycoons wouldn't delay the revival. Gopu will be back. But Team Ungraduate Gamer X Hanuman are at loss. They lost a number.
Trouble in their lands right as now. Aryan's also spotted. The man who was afar trying to provide cover fire as Abhi's also been knocked. In the same time, Team Megastars and Phoenix also have been having losses in the previous two games, and now game 3 not looking great at all. Make it worse for UGX Hanuman. They get eliminated again. The stories for BlazeX15, for UGX Hanuman, and seemingly towards the likes of Phoenix as well. They are just at losses, Tanya.
Two teams already down just off the start. Now it's going to be captains against Team Non-Stop Gamer. Struggle was spotted, taken down in no time. It's going to be Nivesh, who is using all the force that he's having, all the firepower. He's trying to go in, use the explosive. Will the grenade deliver any damage? Because Anubhav did not delay his movement, and now it's the time to just escape away, to sneak out of the circle. They know if they stand here, they will be eliminated. And Non-Stop Gaming successfully trying to escape, but will they escape the crosshair of Nivesh, delivering yet again another set of damage? And they have got a good compound. Struggle will also reunite. It's going to be Launchpad. Now Nivesh is taking this move very risky, and this risk is not going to deliver a lot of favors to him. I'm afraid he might be taken down. Struggle versus Nivesh on the rooftop. Bhagwan will hop in to get the support, but instead the support will be decimated over there, and Nivesh successfully taking down Struggle.
At 15 HP, he manages to find that knock. And Nivesh, what a brilliant player. He was a player to watch out for, and he's surely making that NG Pros watch out for him. And now Venom getting closer. Anubhav and Cropsy stuck. NG Pros in trouble. A similar situation. I don't know what's happening, Tanya. The storyline so far in Game 2 and Game 3 seems replicating. NG Pros got eliminated early. BlazeX15 got eliminated early. We saw UGX Hanuman. Now Phoenix also in trouble. But in this game, again NG Pros. Venom spots Anubhav out in the open. Could have been an opportunity to put him down, but unfortunately it was just a VSS. It's just a shot that he was able to stick. Zap spots the next two players. Cropsy makes a jump. Venom trying to cover him, but he gets hit by another shot from Anubhav. Zap is down. Venom a little too late into this fight, and Struggle and Cropsy actually gets taken down and confirmed. Venom gets it. Struggle will be able to secure the elimination, but this is a struggle for both these two teams. NG Pros not ready to back out. Same goes for the captains.
Again, talking about captains, this is only last man standing. Manu finally coming into the action, the MVP in the group stages of week 1, finally bringing in some action that is much more than necessary. Captains were the one who aggressed, and now they are the sufferers. They are the one who might get eliminated. Venom has nowhere to go, no revival points nearby. Vending machine is already being taken care of. If he decides to go there, he might be taken down, but he does have a launch pad. He's planning to go and escape himself, and successfully manages to do so with only 100 HP. Will they chase it? Just like captains chased a Non-Stop Gaming to get those elimination points. And yes, Manu has the decision already made, and he's trying to push up against the last man. And it's a 4-man roster against one player. How long will Venom survive?
It's very tough for him right now. Similar situation that these two teams were in a replica of. In Game 1, the captains, it did not work in their favor. Game 2, NG Pros. And right now it seems like Game 3 again, it's back in the court of team captains. And it's not going to work. And there it is, the last blow coming in from Manu. And that is going to be a complete team-wide elimination on the captains. But the fight is not going to stop here. This is Alpine. It might look beautiful from the outside, but the inside only has fights. SATUL versus Team Tamilas. Money and Crown down already. Their elimination's about to be confirmed. Kuti trying to survive with all the glue walls that he's putting across, but doesn't let him survive. Arsh taking down the last survivor, trying to get the confirmation. There's still one person surviving from Team Tamilas. That's going to be Vati. They're trying to figure out his position, and a marvelous blow! And that's Team Tamilas out!
They vacated one more slot. Now there are only 8 teams remaining in the lobbies. Team SHUL, what a perfect aggression against Team Tamilas. Launchpad was also used, deployed to move out of sight, but then it is Team SHUL. Marvel, with the sniper in his hand, would not allow any escape plan hopping in. Talking about Licky, his grenade launcher did the dirty deed that was necessary to clear the space. Talking on the different side of the map, though, we do see Team Tycoons, who are doing commendably well. They are on the leaderboards on position 2, just a point away from Team Autobots. Autobots playing it as safe as possible. They want to make sure they survive until the final circle, and survival means maybe they take away the booyah by getting few eliminations at the end of the day. But what happened to Non-Stop Gaming? They're not stopping just yet. They are against Team K98. After eliminating team captains, they have got the different team whom they are eyeing out for.
On Non-Stop Gaming pros, they just want elimination points as much as they can grasp. They knew what happened in the previous game, and that's the reason they're trying to grab as many points as possible. But right as now, looking forward to the players finding points. It is also a story of Phoenix, because it was just Jat, the last man standing. He was around the fight where NG Pros and the captains were having their skirmish, but Jat decided to make a quick getaway and revived his teammates, who are right now in the dead center around Forest Red. That's a good position, but not a great one to hold off, because Team Megastars as well as RN Revenant X Spark are ready and waiting with a UAV. And SATUL are close by. Just now they ended the fight of Team Tamilas. Right behind them is Autobot. So not a great position for SATUL. It could be a crunch, Tanya.
Well, talking about crunch, Zone is also closing in, and is it going to be even more crunchier? Because the fights are going to look even more tasty. At least to the eyes, it's going to be a treat for sure. There's no denial. Circle is going to take a shift real soon. Whom is it going to favor? That still remains a question for a few more seconds. On the course, Non-Stop Gaming has made sure to enter through the northern side, and Circle goes a little southern side, which only supports 2 teams for now. Team SHUL realizing this is the right time, they make a move and have got a control over a shack. Not a good compound, but still better than the open grounds.
Yes, better for now. With 4 eliminations, I hope they have an idea. They did use the binoculars, which did give them an idea that somebody, a team, not sure exactly how many players it revealed, but I think it's on the likes of Team Megastars, and therefore they are on telling them that there were 4 players. So SATL, they know the next trouble that they would have to deal with. But they've already spotted one making a jump, and that's going to be KD God out in the open. Divine waiting. He's waiting to make sure that KD God doesn't move. And then it is going to be a slam bullet in the bullseye to find that knock. And from there on, there is no revive that Revenant X Spark can give to KD God. While that's happening, Revenant X Spark are trying to get closer to the edge of the circle. But do they have information about SATUL? If SATUL find the opportunity of fragging, they will not stop. And whenever they've done that, Tanya, it is a full team elimination.
Yeah, they do believe in squad wipe. The tower that was held strongly by KD. I mean, I believe he doesn't have that sort of an information, and gradually the teams are moving out of sight. But there's one player, Adiraj, who has got few elimination points right on his side, right on his crosshair, delivering a lot of damage. Sure, it's a long distance fight, so there are going to be glue walls. They are going to burn up the resources. They are going to burn up their health kits. But for how long will this continue? Because Team Tycoons will also decide to jump into this sort of battle. Everybody wants a piece of a pie if it is being cut in front of everyone. Long range battle. It's going to be Megastars, who have been pretty strong during the week 1 group stages on the map of Purgatory. Purgatory map did not deliver a lot of favor to them, so maybe they are bringing in whatever best they can on the grounds of Alpine. Team Tycoons as well as Team Megastars, they are just on the different side of the compound on the same angle. Team Phoenix are yet to make a move to enter the circle. And if we talk about overall, Team SHUL, Team Revenant X Park, they all are far, far away from the circle.
Now neighbors, but it's very hard to keep your neighbors happy. And eventually there will be a little bit of a brush off between the two. But for now, Autobots also team getting into the circle right in the front of the eyes of Team Megastars as well as Car 98. Car 98 have not been having a great time. They started off with a fight with the likes of Phoenix who are right in front of our screens, and Phoenix have 0 eliminations. And this is what I spoke about. As soon as Autobots get into the compound, they spot the likes of Car 98. Soul is out. There's still one player somewhere in the mix surviving. But Mayank is like, my teammates are looking after that. They spot another team. That's going to be NG Pros. And NG Pros, it's going to be tough for them to get in. The compound is a barrier for them. They're not in a full-on building. It's just a wall. And for them to get in, they have to fight against the likes of Autobots to see if there's an opportunity. But they're not the only trouble. It's also Team Tycoons who'll take up an opportunity, as just like Team Megastars are picking against the likes of Phoenix. And 3 back-to-back games for Phoenix not looking good is not the right side. They have 0 eliminations, Tanya.
Team Phoenix were attacked from 2 different directions. On one side, it was Autobots, and on the other side, we did see Team SH were also putting the pressure by using the Skylar abilities and all the leads. On the course, Car 98 gets eliminated. Now it's the time. Autobots having a compound, sure, but having a lower ground disadvantage, due to which they might succumb into a small ground. But as soon as I say that, what a zoom in, zoom out speed coming up from Mayank delivered a lot of damage to Sahil, and there's no way he can be revived. And the highest blue wall breaker will be Team Tycoons player. Team Tycoons, they've had a hard time fighting up, but then at the end of the day, they are going to survive by decimating Team Phoenix.
SHUL also got eliminated. That is not a great side that we would like to see, but hey, those are points that the likes of Team Tycoons will be happy about. They grabbed the booyah in the previous game, and rightfully so, they want it here in Alpine. Wolvin now down. Sahil is standing right next to him. Thankful to the glue wall, they can be revived. But NG Pros instantly ham on the likes of Team Tycoons, knowing that they're at a disadvantage. They've brought the players down to their knees, and now they put them under Alpine. That is NG Pros converting and bringing this Alpine game to the last 4 teams standing.
Last 4 teams remaining. The only team to have a better compound looks to be the Megastars. They're able to gatekeep Autobots, and they are also trying to convert few eliminations on their name. Are they going to be successful enough? For on the course, Team Revenant X Park will be eliminated. The Megastars with 5 elimination points already and a squad strong team. It's Autobots having a team of 3 alive. Let's see, are they going to make a move towards getting a good compound, because there are 2 teams eyeing upon them, one of which is Skylar's ability being deployed. The Megastars are also delivering the glue wall melters. Everything, the only cover that they have are being taken away, snatched away, and it's going to be non-stop gaming, trying to get the advantage out of the battle. 2 teams already fighting. It's a 3-way affair happening with nobody in the center. Everybody is playing outside.
Zones shifting, and the major advantage is here for Autobots. Right now, they were the ones who were trying to get closer into the circle because they knew it was a little away from them. Once this play zone made it shrink, they now understand it's made a shift as well, and it's working in the favor of Autobots. They're slowly weaning off, backing off into a perfect position in their favor, as NG Pros wanted to do it because they don't have a compound anymore. The play zone is shrinking right now, and Autobots are taking an advantage on both the ends. NG Pros trying to make it a way out. Team Megastars making a way out. No, you're not. But somehow NG Pros, except for Anubhav, make it Anubhav also joining the forces. But on the other end, Adiraj and Anshul, they're down. It's only Praveen who makes it out. The last man standing, and Autobots wipe him out. With Team Megastars, who are having a mega game, now out. And Autobots looking forward to this 3v4 conversion. They've already done it against one team. The Megastars, can they do it against the pros of non-stop gaming? This is the final fight.
It's a 3v4, non-stop gaming, aggressing by using all the explosive that they have, and it's going to be Cords running towards Mac, is successful taking him down. Team support will hop in. Will Mysterious survive this battle? No. He's also down on the knees. It's all down to the last man standing, who stands no more. NG Pros take away the stunning, spectacular booyah in their name.
Done this booyah, meaning they are going to be back towards a better position in the table. Nothing much to be worried about. Brush that game 2 off. It did not work out in their favor. Game 3 did. They got a booyah on top of it. That is additional 12 points on the sheer amount of eliminations that they were able to grab. Such a brilliant game coming in from the likes of NG Pros. First, it did look like it could be troublesome, but I think that decision making of them taking a fight against the likes of Team Tycoons just after them wiping SATUL was the right decision for NG Pros. If they did not do that, this booyah wouldn't have been theirs. This could have been a situation where they could have ended in that 4th spot itself. Very well played coming in from their likes as well. But I think the whole game of Alpine, we need to kind of give kudos and credits to the likes of Team Megastars. They played really well in that one compound for a long time, troubled every team. Revenant X Spark, NG Pros, we even saw the likes of Team Tycoons, Phoenix, so many teams in all around, even Autobots, 5 to 6 teams. And Team Megastars, I think, good game. Yes, not a booyah, but still something to be happy about.
Yeah, finally they showed the colors about how they qualified towards week 2. It was a tough fight then. It is tougher, and it's going to get tougher too as the day moves ahead. We are already halfway down. 3 maps done, 3 more to go. But before we move ahead, we would definitely want to see about how did the final blow land, because the player had a shotgun in his hand. He was able to get 1 knock where the team support hopped in, but then how did he manage to escape and not be taken down?
I think here NG Pro spread out really well. Sohail was the only one who was able to pick up a knock. Everybody else were just getting knocked, and that is one of the reasons I think Autobots missed the opportunity, and NG Pros, the true bros, I would also call them, that they were able to grab this booyah for themselves. Manu, I think a spectacular player in his own. He was the reason in the early fight between the captains. NG Pros survived, and right now towards the end, he was also one of the star players with the team. Not a big game here. That's surprising for me. They were only able to grab 12 eliminations, pushing this total to 24, meaning the other teams now have a closer chance. And this is why I said Group C is so confusing. I think the letter C, we could call it confusing. The main reason being we are not able to grasp which team is making it through to the top 6. Things are changing so rapidly.
Well, they are. Instead of confusing, I would like to call it more competitive though, because Autobots and Team Tycoons, they were the one on the position 1 and 2. Coming towards the position score now, they both have secured 17. The 1 point buffer still continues to go ahead, but we would like to see who is the MVP for this spectacular game, and it has to be none other than Non-Stop Gaming's Corpse. He took a good fight with the shotgun, Tatsuya in his hand, Nikita for the faster reload, Joseph and Ford involved within, and Alvaro, of course, Avrin, my bad. If they use Avrin over here, he has all the information that was required and the fast move with Tatsuya, and that is exactly what I was questioning. Will he be able to manage to get 2 elimination points? And yet he did it because of the infusion of this strong character skills.
Imagine he was the first one, Tanya, to be knocked. Could have been one of the first players to be eliminated. His teammates helped him out, and from there on, Cropsy has helped his teammates get themselves a booyah. That's how wonderfully they've played. When we are talking about this individual, let's also talk about the team in its own. I think wonderful performance coming in from every individual. Anubhav, Manu, Struggle, everybody put their best foot forward here, and I think that information game you mentioned about one, but all of them just having R1 across the board tells us that they only needed information. They knew their gun game is good, their team game is even better, and through that they've gotten themselves this booyah. These abilities are generally what we see, and I think having Steffi and Oscar will help you with the Tatsuya towards the end to make your spectacular moves, and also in case there's a throwable, just push it off, brush it off, and that worked out in their team, along with everybody doing about 1000 damage. Manu, I would not say that he didn't, but he was there for his teammates at all times, sniping, looking forward to those last eliminations, and he was able to grab it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is exactly what they had to do. They grabbed the opportunity very wisely. Talking about Cropsy, he did a spectacular job. That was the player that I eyed upon. And we should also be talking about the game summary. 56 total elimination. That is barely 8 extra. So there was no revival opportunity coming in. It was all about, if you see a team, you go in for a squad wipe. Sure, 76 knockdowns, total damage, 38,094 points. Longest elimination distance is just, say, 96. And it is the map of Alpine. We do not tend to see a long range fight happening over and over time. And total blue walls destroyed 146.
I think this is a lot of points missed out from the other teams who are not able to grab those eliminations in their favor. And this game, this Alpine will determine of where teams are currently standing in the overall leaderboard. If they are not closer to the top 6, Tanya, I am worried. Because if we are seeing a lobby with just 56 total eliminations at the end of game, meaning teams are not allowing that revive, as you rightfully said, and this is going to continue in the next games coming, and the next games they are even more familiar before we step into Solara, the last game. So at least Bermuda and Kalahari teams know how to play around the map, and they'll be able to easily grasp hold of teams who are trying to run away after losing players and try to wipe and eliminate them, meaning this elimination total could even go down in the next further games or could repeat in the similar fashion, Tanya.
Well, talking about map of Bermuda, I do believe each and every team is going to play more of a defensive game. They have realized, at least for the teams who are already in top 4 or 5, they are trying to make sure that they survive, safe land and not go for crash landing. And if they do, I believe they have totally prepped up for this situation where they're going to land in and have a crash battle. But will that crash battle end up into their favor? That's going to be a question, because now they only have 3 more maps remaining. If they get eliminated right now, which is one of the most comforting map, that's going to be a punishing thing, which they wouldn't want to suffer on themselves.
I'm now worried for the teams at the bottom. We spoke about Phoenix. They did try to survive, so that's some placement points for them, but barely we saw eliminations. And on top of that, UGX Hanuman and BlazX 15, 2 back-to-back games where they got eliminated super duper early, meaning no points for them. And again, the captains. The captains just had game too good in their name, but not a great game as well. So these names, and that's what we said, you cannot count any team out here in Group C. At least in Group B and Group A, we were able to eye on the top teams and the underdogs coming through. But here, everybody has put their best foot forward, and so far, even in the games, and unfortunately, some teams are unable to grab a hold of what's happening. And now we head over to Game 4. That is going to be Bermuda, which is very, very crucial for them to start grabbing points, or it's going to get tougher.
And we do like tough things, and the toughest map is going to be Bermuda. It is exactly what I'm saying, the opposite. It should have been comforting, but it is not at all comforting right now. 3 maps down, 3 more to go. It is going to be Group C game number 4 for TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2025 flight path. It's exactly bisecting the map in 2. The spread outs are going to be very, very clean, and non-stop gaming have already got a good control on observatory and graveyard.
I'm waiting to see if there's going to be drop clashes, and likely it seems like SATL and Phoenix are going to be having one. That's going to be trouble. Autobots and Team Tycoons, but I think these teams at the top, not much to be worried about. The main problem is SATL versus Phoenix. Revenant X Spark also towards Kotatua. They've gone away from any of these fights. Circle, generally centering, not much to be worried about. Teams will eventually make it in, and we have not seen teams having much trouble because of this circle. Because NG Pros after that previous game were able to turn the tides. But UGX Hanuman, Aryan, he's getting closer irrespective his teammates went to Bhima Shakti Strip. He is trying to get closer and seeing if there's information. He did use Arvon, which did tell him there is a couple of players in that vicinity at peak. But is there a fight that UGX Hanuman are about to brew? It seems like yes, as Autobots get the first blood on Team Tycoons.
On the grounds of fortune of Team SHL is ready to pick up fight against Team Phoenix. Team Phoenix have not had a good day as of now, but Team SHL is making sure they have it worse, they have it bad. The push comes in, Blue Wall will not be able to save him. He's left with 7 HP and is down on the knees. There's no way he can be revived. 2 players already down and eliminated, and Team SHL gets 2 elimination points right off the start. 2 minutes down, no teams eliminated, but a lot of elimination points secured. 2 coming in from Team SHL, 2 coming in from Team Tamilas. Autobots are also in the mix of getting 1, and the Mega Stars and Non-Stop Gaming would not want to delay the party. Also join in with 1 elimination points. On the grounds of peak, we do see UGX Hanuman against Team Autobots.
I don't know if this is going to work out for them. They're in dire need of points. UGX Hanuman have to play it smart. Arvon used against them, which will give Autobots the right idea that it's going to be a full squad rushing against them. And Mayank is already waiting. He's just waiting for a little sneak peek, and from there he'll be able to tag and knock them, just like Manu is doing against the likes of BlazX 15. And there's more players falling down one after another. Could be trouble. Another early elimination could be there, as we are seeing that on the feed. But the captains, they're turning things around. They're turning things around in the sense of grabbing points. It is against the likes of Team Tycoons. But SATUL, have they stopped the fight against Phoenix? No, the players who managed to make a run, they've been spotted. And Shubham, out in the open, there's nowhere he can hide. I think he did go to the vending machine to try and revive his player, which has been successful, but he'll not be able to save himself.
There's no way he will be surviving, because if you see Licky giving in a long range support, and Marvel already rushed in and secured the elimination points. Now factory area is totally being controlled by Team SATUL. On the other side of the map, near to the bullseye, we do see Non-Stop Gaming picking up fights, and they are also securing elimination points. 4 elimination points already, and they are the highest fraggers as of now. No teams eliminated. Licky will be revived immediately on the grounds of factory and T. And which direction are they rotating onto? There's nobody sharing the ground. They are safe now. They have bought enough time to get themselves better loot. But what about Team K98? They picked up the fight against the Mega Stars. They got the elimination points, and they look safe. They look comforting on the grounds of Rimnam Village, where usually the players go in to have a safe start. Now nothing is safe. It's the 4th map now for week 2 Group C. So how can anybody be safe here? Everybody instead want to be safe on the leaderboards.
True that. Nobody is going to be safe here in Bermuda. As you rightfully said, even in the start when we played this game out, the flight path, that this should be a safe haven where teams should feel comfortable about their positioning, about how they would want to fight, pick fights, take fights, and maybe convert. It's not looking like that, especially for Phoenix. We did speak about Shubham reviving his teammates, but it is not looking like it's worked out. As now they are in the eyesights of Autobots. It's up to Gabbar and Jat. Jat was the previous map savior in game 3. Can he save the team once again for a little further? But the points, they are not working in their favor. But Car 98, they dished the fight against the likes of Megastars in Rimnam Village. But while they're trying to enter the circle towards Clock Tower, Team Megastars are trying to stop and stall them. Unfortunately, it did not work out. Car 98, with all the firepower and fire itself, helps them to grab 2 eliminations in that compound. And one last survivor, make it actually 2, as Adiraj and Praveen will make a quick getaway and get towards Bhima Shakti Strip.
It was a good roasting and toasting session delivered by Team Car 98. Right now on the grounds of Mildo, Team Tycoons are sharing the grounds with Blaze X15. Where is the man standing? Vending machine being used. And if you have a look at Armin's character ability, Cassie, as well as Wukong being used, Blaze X15. It's a fight of the shotgun flash versus Blaze X, and Blaze X will be down and will be confirmed. Why are they waiting? Are they looking forward? No, they are not going to wait. They are going to confirm here, and 2 elimination points here. The circle has taken a shift where Mill isn't part within the circle. So let's see if they're going to immediately take the rotation, or are they going to go take a longer route.
Right now, route has become too damn long for the likes of Team Blaze X15, but it seems to be even for the captains. Bhagwan is down. Nivesh is not looking great. He's the last man standing, down to his last minimal HP, and he's been wiped by the likes of Autobots. They have been the Decepticons for every other team here. They've been wiping them right, left and center. This team eyes anybody and they pick them off clean. Not even a trace of a team being there in these surroundings of Bermuda. What a push and a play and a clearance coming in from Autobots. Unbelievable show, and every game that we've seen from their end, Tanya, yes, they got the booyah in the very start of things, but from there on, they've still been in the top 4 of every game. Such a fabulous, consistent performance coming in from the likes of Autobots.
Autobots doing it very good, but what concerns me is team captains. They were not good in the entire day, and out of all the fights that have been witnessed, it's only one team that has got eliminated by far before the circle takes next shift, and that's only team captains. That wasn't supposed to happen, because team captain should have gotten into the position to bring in the comeback. And if I calculate wisely, I do tend to see them in the bottom half of the leaderboard with a long buffer score as compared to the top 5 teams. Now, whatever they are going to do in the next 2 maps, let's hope they bring back the S tier game to get into the map back, to get the secured position back. Autobots safely holding the grounds, the biggest compound near to the peak. 6 elimination points. Mysterious doing heavy lifting for the team. Just nearby, we do get to see ungraduate gamer ex Hanuman nearby. Now, it's Autobots who are aware about the existence, but to ungraduate gamer, no Do they have the information? Because all they have to do is run up and open and then enter the circle.
On behalf of UGX Hanuman, I'm right now feeling happy that they did not take the fight against the likes of Autobots. They've been looked too fearful so far here in our Group C matches. It's going to be tough for them if they try to see for it in an unanticipated fight. Because they are the ones who need the points, just like you were speaking about the captains. And even we were having this discussion earlier, right? Even Crips and Arka, before they were doing the game 1 and game 2, they were talking about the number of points that we would see at the cutoff, which could have been speculated at 60. But I feel like it is going to be cut off here somewhere closer to the ends of 50-55 because of how the teams at the top are picking points, and especially for 3 to 4 consecutive games, teams at the bottom are unable to grab points at all.
They have to make sure that they grab some points. At least if they're not able to win the fights, they can go ahead, just survive and get those much required placement points. Mars Electric has been denied by the circle. And here we go. Team Tamila struggling back. 2 players down on the knees. There's no position that they can be revived. And SATULX Divine will be able to get both of the confirmation in just a blink of an eye. Clock Tower outside of the circle. And now this is the compound that they are trying to get hold on to. They will have to make sure as the time progresses, they get a good compound anywhere nearby. If not, but before that, one more player standing next to X Divine, and it is a long range battle. He's using marksman rifle to get those elimination, to get those finishers, which is very clean from Team SATUL as of now.
Crown, the last man standing for Team Tamilas, will be able to bring back the team into action for now. But if it was a very early elimination of Team Tamilas here, it could have been a lot of points that especially teams at the bottom, my mind is just running in circles about them of how they'll be able to grab points, because the teams at the top, and we've spoken about this continuously, right? I think this lobby, at least here in Bermuda, we are seeing a lot of revives happening compared to the previous game. Therefore, we should see a lot more knockdowns and a lot more eliminations coming through. But to deny that, Revenant X Spark wanting a full team wipe on Blaze X15. They find Prince. Close by was his teammate Blaze X15 and Zodex. In the arsenal, he got wiped. But right now, Blaze X15, they did not or were not able to revive all their players. And now they're down to the last 2 and they're nowhere close of having a lot of tokens in their favor. And with Revenant X Spark eyeing them. Thankfully, they've not used any kind of utility to reveal their positions. And Revenant X Spark is just jumping around. And KD God, I think he should be able to find and spot the player. He's not. Wolvin, will he spot Lewis? He doesn't. Blaze X15, he gets unspotted by not just 1, 2 or 3, by 4 players of the likes of Revenant X Spark. But finally, Sahil, the last man who was going with the vehicle, spots him. Oh my God. I was like, this is going to be a heartbreak for Revenant X Spark.
Well, I felt, is he wearing the cloak coming in from the side of Harry Potter where he goes invisible and nobody watches him? But no, finally gets spotted and also eliminated. 11 teams still within the lobby, Bermuda. The longest survivors spotted over here. 40 players within. Team Non-Stop Gaming this time are fighting against the Mega Stars. And Zodex, the last man standing, stands no more, gets eliminated. Now we have 10 teams within the lobby. Team RNTX Spark on the edge. They're trying to make a move in the circle where they are being gate kept. No, there's other team who is gatekeeping, and Phoenix Esports will bite the dust and will get eliminated by Ungraduate Gamer. Piyush, a keen eye and a perfect gatekeeping opportunity, well converted in elimination points.
Much needed here. And Piyush making the heavy job in his team's favor with the help of his teammate. But it's going to get tougher right now. On one end, it's going to be Team Megastars, who looked brilliant in the previous game, and SATUL, who always look forward to complete team wipe. So Abhi and Piyush, they have to be smart. They're in the circle, yes, but they need a lot of points. That's the main matter right now. It is not just about survival anymore. UGX and Numan have missed the previous 3 games. They need to find an opener here in Game 4. NG Pros, they have not missed anything. All games have worked for them. I would, as I said in the previous one, brush what happened on Game 2. Forget even that game existed, because from there on, NG Pros, they've been tagging, bagging and getting points and also getting a booyah for themselves. And now Team Tamilas, Vati gets knocked. Kuti was the last survivor, and again, Kuti is still the last survivor of Vati going down.
On the grounds of Bermuda, we do see the circle has no good compounds except for few towers to get the cover, some trees and few rocks. But before that, the best compound being held by Cropsy. He is trying to deliver damage and he successfully took down Licky. A stronger man down on the knees. There's no way he can be revived. He's already eyeing upon on other two players who did try to make a move. Licky will survive this one. Did he have the adrenaline shot? How did they manage to revive that guy? The player nearby will try to make a move outside within the circle. All the vision, all the view from Anubhav, and this is going to be the end of Team Megastars. But non-stop gaming against Team SFMIC will be continued, will be played, and Licky once again will be spotted and taken down. This time there comes the confirmation.
Team Tamilas also get eliminated. Revenant X Sparks Louis spots the last player of Team Tamilas. But right now, it is Divine, Marvel and Ursh who need to stop the onslaught of NG Pros coming through. Cropsy has gotten closer but did not land the bullets to find a knock. NG Pros, they're not giving way for the likes of SATL to answer back. All the 4 players still surviving. But a third party happening from UGX and Oman. This is the best opportunity. The teams at the top, if they're able to back points against them, then UGX and Oman should work a lot of the points in their favor, but they have to be smart about it. Anubhav is down, Ursh eliminated, Marvel is knocked, his elimination also gets confirmed. UGX and Oman, they are making it happen. They're trying to grab as many and as much as they could. And now it's time as the teams start backing off. SATL get wiped and it's only NG who managed to survive off that fight with one last surviving player. But before I could say about that, he's also eliminated, and UGX and Oman, they've made it to the top 3. While they need the points, they have to fight against mammoths of Revenant X Spark and Autobots.
On the grounds of Peak, Maze Garden is the place where they were fighting off, and now the center of the circle will be held strongly by UGX Hanuman. Autobots staying out of the circle, but sure eyeing upon the opponents, having a good cover of the rock, also a good higher ground advantage. Let's see how they're going to convert that into the booyah. But before I say anything, Revenant X Sparks Wolverine is going to spot Piyush down and confirming it's a 3 versus 3 affair if Autobots does not revive the teammate. But as soon as I say that, they manage to bring back the 4th member. More the merrier. Now usually I tend to say you have more numbers, you take away the booyah, and Autobots also have a good momentum which should bring them a better chances of bagging a booyah.
Previous game they missed out. They were in the top 2. I think that's the confidence that's riling them up for this booyah here in Bermuda. A more comfortable map. And they're trying their best. They're the ones with the number. They're the ones with the zone and the position advantage in this last and final circle. UGX and Oman have been spotted. Revenant X Spark, but they have a tower. But finally this circle, it's moving in the other direction, favoring none of the teams because they're at the side edges of the circle. And this could be a problem for all of them. But UGX and Oman, they have a safer spot to move back. But they have to be smart about it, using their glue walls, back off. But Autobots, they're not letting that happen as easy as possible. Revenant X Spark as well. Right now, they've cut their sound completely in this fight. So UGX and Oman are the targets right in front of Autobots. And it's getting difficult for UGX and Oman to survive. Kohli has been hit with shots. Aryan and Abhi trying to get closer and closer, but they're getting pummeled with bullets one after another. Abhi goes down, Aryan is down, it's only Kohli, the last man standing, and Wolvin rushes. With that, it is a last 2 teams standing, a 3v4 fight. Likes not against of Revenant X Spark. It is Autobots who look favorable, but can they convert using the monster truck to break those glue walls? Lou has been spotted. Back and forth is this fight. Lou is in the monster truck. He's trying to take that as an advantage as Mac has been knocked. This is a last and final 3v3 fight.
It is a jaw-dropping moment for RNTX. The last player standing, will he be able to convert it into 1v3? And here comes the answer, no! Autobots take away the marvelous booyah right from the start of the map of Bermuda. They picked up the fight and ending by hosting their only flag alive within the lobby. Mayank, Sohail, Mysterious and Mac with that monster truck. That was everything that was needed. And it was incredible to watch this.
They got the booyah on Purgatory and then they got another booyah on a more comfortable map. Autobots, 2 booyahs in their name. And so many points away from the teams who are looking forward to qualifying. But I'm happy about UGX and Oman. I think we spoke about this midway, right? I even said I am happy on the behalf of UGX and Oman. The only reason that they did not take the fight against likes of Autobots, you just saw what they did. They got a second booyah here in such a competitive game that we are seeing, such a competitive group that we are seeing, that every team is struggling for points, especially in that bottom six. And every team in the bottom six, yesterday when we were talking in Group B, right, it looked like any team could make their way into the top six. Here, teams are not looking great. They're struggling for every bit of point. Even one Booyah doesn't secure their spot in the top six. That's how tough it's gotten.
Yeah, they are all clustered in terms of the score line. If we talk about the top two teams, sure, they have got a good secured position. They have cemented themselves. Autobots also trailing themselves upwards, and which is very good. But talking about the bottom half of the leaderboard, is it enough with whatever they are performing? I believe no. They have to bring some changes that is required. But what happened exactly in the previous map? How did Mac manage to escape up in the open with the monster truck? He was trying to run down a player, and Mac was taken down, where it was remaining to 3 versus 3. Sahil gave the best with the chrono being deployed, but there's nothing much that could have been done with 3 aggressive players just pushing him to just shut him down, shut him wisely, and grab the booyah.
I think brilliantly played here from the likes of Autobots. They moved in a little slow, made sure that they had the space. Revenant X Spark did not have the zone doing the damage to them continuously. And I think Louis over there tried to kind of play a little bit smarter, outsmart the likes of Autobots, got in that monster truck, tried to kind of rampage around that mix. In case that worked out, it could have been a booyah for them. Or in case if he was able to help his teammates out, I think it could have been a better outcome. But nonetheless, hey, Autobots, they had the numbers better. Revenant X Spark did bring it down to back to a 3v3. So they did put their best foot forward. But Autobots, they were just finding knocks, eliminations in their favor, and it worked out. But it's only 27 points. The points are dipping, Tanya. And you can see right now, I think this is the first time that I'm seeing a point which is about 20, with even the third position team, that is NG Pros, who have 20 points, and then UGX Hanuman coming at 14 total points, sharing it with SATUL. But the MVP goes to Mysterious from Autobots, the rusher with 8 eliminations, and having that Tatsuya, Shani, Joseph and Ford to its brilliance.
He did everything what was needed. Mysterious performed very well in previous maps as well, and he is a check mark for consistency for his team. He has been performing every single time. 4 assists to support his teammates, and the late rotations was all supported well by Ford character being equipped. And everything that Autobots is doing is demolishing other teams down, pushing them even further more down, and snatching away the opportunity of qualifying. Let's have a look upon all the 4 players about how was the total stats performed by bagging the booyah, because that is exactly we'll be able to evaluate how much each and every player invested with the character skills. Coda for information coming in from the side of Mayank. If you have a look at Mac, he's using Skylar to remove all the glue walls and get a better visionary. So hail the rusher, as well as we have got 2 rushers in the team, due to which they are dividing, one equipping Oscar and other equipping Tatsuya. 2 aggressive character skills, active skills, are bringing in the best aggressive playstyle, which is matching up to their scoreline, matching up to their playstyle, and it is exactly what this team needs.
It is exactly what this team needs, as you rightfully said, Tanya, because teams like at the bottom, they need this as well. That's what they're looking up to. They're like, wait, Autobots are doing this. This is what we need as well, but it's not working out. But what's worked out is the team stats, which they've surpassed, and the highest is sitting at 2,300. That is the main reason that Mysterious is the MVP, but his teammates have not backed off. Mac is at 1,600. Sohail is at 1,300. Mayank at 1,000 himself. And all of them have minimum 2 eliminations and minimum 4 assists coming through. That tells you that they were playing as a team, which worked in their favor. And a game that I thought would kind of dip down in the total eliminations that we saw instantly ramped up because of the number of revives that continuously happened in that hunger of the total points needed for every team to qualify.
Total eliminations 80. We talked wisely when we said Bermuda has been the room of opportunity where the players were allowed to revive their teammates. 80 massive elimination points, 90 knocks, 47,000 and above damage, 130 meters of long distance elimination, and the blue walls also been wasted out because the circle was in the center where there was no more good compound. But we do have an overall standing where Autobots and Team Tycoon still resisting their position strongly and firmly with position 1 and 2. But this time the buffer is not 1 point, it has stretched to 16 points.
That is big, Tanya. Like, very big, and we have just 2 games left. That's Kalahari and Solara. So teams like Team Megastars, Tamilas, UJX Hanuman, the captains especially, BlazeX15 and Phoenix have a long way to go. And I think this could be one of the times that I would counter myself. And I like when this happens, that teams at the top are taking so many points that the cutoff, which we are looking at right now, 34 with Car 98, might actually push all the way above 60. Could be a probability. But also it could, as I said, go down because of how much of a difference, the gap being so big between the team at the 5th spot and the 6th spot, meaning if SATL, Revenant X Spark, NG Pros, Team Tycoons and Autobots keep fighting and taking points in their name, they're just going to be running away with a lot of points. Teams like Team Megastar, we just commended them based on their previous game that we saw in Alpine. Here, look at them. They're at the 7th spot. Game did not work. They're out from that top 6 so quick.
And that is something that they're not eyeing upon. Team captains, they've got a lot of experience and they've got a lot of fandom as well. And if they get eliminated, and now to no surprise, yesterday we did see teams like TSG and K9 getting eliminated. But team captains still do have 2 more maps on their hand, and let's hope so that they are able to bring in the game. But the scoreboard looks a little clogged up, Sam. And over there, they need to make sure they better up whatever they are performing. And we are down to 4 games already, 2 more remaining. But those 2 games will be done after a short break. Make sure you're already here, waiting and watching, and we'll be back soon.
Hello everybody, welcome back to TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2025. You guys are watching the intense matches of Group C. My name is Crips and joining me for the last two games of the day is going to be Arzora in a striking red jacket. Looking good, bro.
Thank you so much, Crips. And moreover, all of these teams are looking good as well. Whenever it comes to the competition, Autobots are not running back at all. And the kind of plays that they're showcasing, couple of booyahs, first one and the previous one as well, they are dominating the entire lobby. And I'm hoping that the other teams are also going to wake up. This is the warning signs. These are the warning bells that are toying for so long. Couple of maps. How far can you stretch is the question. Kalahari being one of the favorite maps for all of those snipers out there. And later on, it's going to be Solara.
Yeah, and you've already seen 4 games where Autobots dominated, 2 of them getting booyahs in Purgatory as well as Bermuda. And it seems like they're getting all the classic maps under their belt. And if this pattern continues, there's a pretty good chance that they will dominate on Kalahari as well. Kalahari and Solara are going to be the last 2 maps of the day, and everybody who's not in the bottom, who's on the bottom 6 already, these guys need to hurry up and really get a pace on. They need to keep moving because only the 6 teams out of the top 12 will make it out of this stage and into the league stage.
You know, there are multiple teams who are currently working as a Dodo. And you know what happened to Dodo, right? They got extinct. And I'm hoping that these teams are not going to go ahead and follow the similar kind of patterns in FFMIC, as they need to go ahead and perform so well that they need to stay above rank number 6, or I would say 6th position. So I'm hoping that teams are ready. I do understand that there is going to be elimination at the brink, but here's the thing, right? All the teams who are going ahead and earning the bread, they are finding themselves towards the top 6. And this is the kind of situation that you need to make till the very end. Whether it be Kalahari, whether it be Solara, you need to be on your A game. Best foot forward is what I can say, Crips.
Yep, these guys will have to not just take a they won't just have to take their best foot forward, they will have to literally sprint to the finish line, because the finish line is approaching pretty fast, ladies and gentlemen. The penultimate game of the day. Kalahari is on your screens right now, and the teams are dropping to their designated spots.
I love the way the Susana is going ahead and taking every single player to their following destination, confinement, council hall. All of these places are open to go ahead and get those loots. Command post alongside Stone Ridge being the last point of contact. Let's see which teams are looking forward for a drop clash and heading all the way towards command post, as majority of the action happens here itself. But wait a second, Refinery has been this first prime spot for Mayhem.
Yep, and Refinery was always expected to be the place where the battle starts. Everything erupts over here, and Prince already lost his life, becomes the first prey of the day. It's actually Blaze X15 who draw first blood. Elsewhere in the maze, you've got Team Tycoons, a very aggressive team taking on the Megastars, who just seem to have found a second win in this round 2. Zipline, it's not exactly safe. Gopu goes down, but it seems to me that it's not going to be a problem for Team Tycoons just yet, because they're still keen on fighting. Amin continues to spray in, gets another knock with the MP5, and now he's got Praveen cornered.
Amin has been such a spectacular force, those nades being one of the best things that he can bring in. And you all can see the kind of passive ability he has. It's Alvaro, that's right. So Split Blitz can be used at any given point of time. For now, it's on a cooldown. So let's see how far he can go ahead and rush down the throats of the enemies. And looking at the way Flash is just running in, he is doing justice to the name, gets the elimination, and now looking forward to more and more eliminations. This team is unstoppable, and that's the kind of force you have to be in order to be reckoned.
Man, he's just abandoning his glue walls and using the tree also as cover. AML equipped, and if that doesn't do the job, then the nade certainly should. Praveen forced to deploy another glue wall just to cover himself up, and he's kind of pinned over here. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Praveen has to shoot his way outside, armed with an MP40. Sprays down one, and he gets the other one as well. Can Praveen clutch it out? 2 players confirmed, and he's just done it. It's all down to Gopu. Team Tycoons really thought they had Praveen cornered, but a cornered rat never gives up. He always fights back. And Praveen, he roars once again. Lovely double elimination.
That's right. Moreover, the way the teams are also focusing around towards getting a knock or two is insane. But Mayank, he's made a big mistake. But on the other end, it's a really good retaliation. Godfather, he has been taken down. PNX, they're on the brink of not surviving at all. But wait a second, Gabbar is here to save the day. He's already knocked one player, and the second one falls through as well. They're falling down like flies, and being swatted is one of the key features. But wait, there's another person mysteriously coming from the back lines. What a way! Autobots, they are for sure rolling out and taking at least a couple of eliminations, and that's good enough for a really nice start. But overall, they're going to come back into the action by reviving all of the players, and once again, you can see them. They are out here to go ahead and get this fight accomplished yet again.
Round 2, baby. Mayank and Sohail are on their way down to the ground once again. Meanwhile, Phoenix Esports have also managed to get at least one revival in. So it is going to be round 2 between these two teams. Do they have what it takes? Godfather has heard Mac, but Mac knew that Godfather would be towards the coins. He knew that he needs the money to get the teammates back online. Godfather kind of pinned. Mysterious from above drops down and gets the confirmation with the Trogon as well. Autobots are indeed on a roll.
Autobots, it's all right. Mayank's elimination has already come forward. PNX, Phoenix, they are fighting for a really long time. They won those eliminations in order to go ahead and at least withstand towards being in top 6 positions. So overall, they are trying to function really nice. And looking at the way those shots are coming in, Mac as well, he's trying to make a really nice mac and cheese, but he needs the key ingredients, the masala, which he needs to add into this flavor.
Ooh, I hope he doesn't overcook this one. It is quite easy to burn mac and cheese, but it seems like this guy won't be burnt anytime soon. He's in control of the flame. Might as well try to spit roast some other team by third-partying them and sandwiching them in between those two players. Meanwhile, elsewhere, towards Council Hall, you've got Blaze X15 about to clash against NG Pros. Now, keep in mind, NG Pros did not really drop clash against them. They were towards Bayfront, but now they're going for another rotation. Struggle and Anubhav get up top using the grappling guns. Zodex tries to make that maneuver, but he gets shot down. And that's an instant man advantage for NG Pros.
Oh, that's right. They're keeping every single thing plain and simple. They won those eliminations. And Prince right now begging for mercy alongside Blackie. The both of them have been confirmed, all thanks to Manu. And this is the kind of team that you need to see non-stop. Because at one point of time, I believe it was the map of Kalahari itself where they could drop a 30 bomber. This might be that one-of-a-kind map where they can replicate similar kind of action. If they don't, it's all right. But if they do, then they're going to set themselves soaring high above in the number 1 position.
And nothing short of that. They won't aim for anything lesser. Autobots once again back with their third member. Pretty sure it wouldn't be much of a problem for them to get their other player also online. But Foundation has become a graveyard for a bunch of people because Autobots once again in a fight, this time finding themselves clashing against Megastars. Mac though, I hope he doesn't get sandwiched over here because he's getting shot from UG on top of that platform. And at the same time, the members of Phoenix Esports are cornering him. Gabbar must have seen them by now. They're going to drop on him. Mac trying his level best to keep himself alive. Does get the knock on to Gabbar, but cannot really get the confirmation. He was hoping to get that confirmation, so he will get at least one more elimination point. But they save their player. They save Gabbar. And he won't be giving away any points anytime soon.
Here's the thing. Autobots, they're getting a bit more anxious towards this fight. But wait a second. What's happening here? UGX Hanuman, they're taking some really nice shots, AC-80 in hand, and that's been the talk of the town. Lovely knocks coming in, Struggle as well on the other end. He's taking a different fight, and these are from 4 different teams I'm talking about. And look at this, the full-fledged fight that we were waiting for. RNTX, they're trying to showcase that they need those eliminations as well. For now, they are not at the top 6, and in order to be there, they need more of the elimination points, and that's how you can go ahead and break the entire ice. Oh, sorry. They're already there. They're just trying to compete towards a #1 position.
Oh, Wolven has Zodex cornered. Lewis right alongside him. Can they get the angles? I don't think Zodex will get any backup from his teammate. He's not anywhere close to him. No trade potential. So Wolven is up at the 3rd elimination point. Revenant X-Pac up at 7, and they've got Bayfront under their control. Unfortunately, everybody seems to be dunking on X15 today because these guys have been targeted by 2 different teams so far. Revenant X-Pac being one of them, Megastars being one of them. They almost got into a fight against Phoenix Esports as well, but somehow dodged that bullet.
And I'm hoping all of these bullets are going to be bitten down real soon. Yet again, the encounter. Phoenix, are they going to rise up from the ashes as they are taking some really nice shots? Gubber, nice retaliation. But he's also taken the kind of effect or the damage that I can see on the screen. Sohail on the other end, he's been taken down. Surprisingly, he had the compound support, but unfortunately, it's not going to stay in for a longer time. Riptide Rhythm utilized, but at the very end, it's all about the escape that Autobots is utilizing at this point of time. PNX, they are going ahead toe-to-toe, taking those fights against the table toppers and not shying away. This is the kind of confidence you need, and that's the kind of confidence they're showcasing. Mayank, I believe that's going to be a lost cause. You need to run away. And that's one of the places where I believe non-stop is coming in.
Exactly, non-stop aggression from them, and this time Phoenix Esports are their targets. Mayank thought he was a dead man, he thought he was cornered, but NG Pros might just be his saviors, might just be his guardian angels. Nope, absolutely not. I said that a bit too soon. Anubhav finds Mayank as well, and they eliminate Phoenix Esports.
Compromise.
They're gonna have their cake and eat it too.
Oh, that was a huge buy. For Phoenix, they were just feeling themselves. All of a sudden, they've been completely eliminated alongside. Wait, Autobots as well? Well, the rotations clearly did not work out, and Car 98, they are running away for their dear life. As TT, they are chasing them down. Team Tycoons, they've been playing phenomenal when it comes to the table toppers or being in the tier 1 teams. 6-6. 6 tier 1 teams and 6 underdogs, and all of them are bowing down to Team Tycoons.
They seem to not differentiate between anyone, whether it's a tier 1 team or an undergod. Mutually assured destruction. And absolutely, when you do not discriminate, you will not even think twice before picking up a fight, because Car 98 clearly is in a mood to disengage, but Armin doesn't want to let go of them. Chase's bot got down, or rather chasing him up, because he just used that grappling gun to get the elevation, and now poor Harsh is trapped in the open. He's gonna have to use a bunch of glue walls to get away from there, but even that won't help him. Grenades on the ground, he's hoping to cook it and land underneath Amin's feet, but he's got that shield activated, and he won't be taking any damage from the front. Absolutely nothing that he could have done over there to take Amin down.
Another active ability taken, Kenta, which helped him out at the very end. Good tanking of all of those damages coming from the front. But this team has been the talk of the town, S8UL. We all have seen the kind of shenanigans that they've been pulling off since the beginning of the game. They have been on point with the survivability alongside getting those eliminations as well. But talking about this one team who's trying to chase, who's trying to beat the compass and head inside the circle. But here's the thing, Team Taminas, they're waiting for them with their arms open. They come here and give us that one elimination point.
Yep. Ready for the sweet, warm embrace of death. Team Tamilas wait for them with their arms wide open. And speaking of wide open, they're also spreading out in a way where they can cover more angles onto Sid. So that's not the only thing they're opening up. They're trying to liberate more of their positions as well. Kuti just assigned to keep an eye on him, and everyone else is just going to get inside there. Meanwhile, NG Pros discovered Revenant X-Pac. Glue walls, blocking the nades. That's quite a lot of utility blocked. And as you know that you can't carry that many nades right now, this is going to be quite good because Revenant X-Pac often initiate with those throwables. Take a look at KD God. He's trying to get the high ground, get the angles. Lewis joining alongside him, playing with Wolvin. They are all using the high ground to get inside the Foundation ruins. Meanwhile, NG Pros just seem to be playing alongside this ridge. They don't have any intention of moving forward, but Revenant X-Pac do. Lewis leading the charge now. Freeze bomb onto Anubhav and Cropsy. They're all stuck behind that one tiny ridge. Monster Truck Summon won't really help them out, but Manu is the only person who's got an alternate angle. He might just be able to set up a crossfire between his teammates if they communicate well.
Do not pressure them more, struggle. He's just waiting there right now, heads on to the monster truck. But here's the thing, the charge is imminent. RNTX, they're rushing. And with that said, those knocks are pouring down. Knocks are pros. They are thinking that this was a fatal decision of staying here for a longer time. The struggle is real. Last man standing. What can he do for the team? As X15, they're also chiming in. This is the kind of opportunity that they were waiting for. And this is one thing that has been provided from the likes of Struggle. RNTX still going ahead and trying to find that one last frag, and it is seeming impossible. Wait a second, they finally sweep the entire house, and now X15, they're running away for their dear life.
I don't think there's any possibility of escaping over here. Revenant X-Pac, do not let anybody escape. 15 eliminations. These guys are absolutely demolishing anyone who stands in their way. The spark has turned into a inferno, which is impossible to douse right now. And their next targets are probably going to be UG. They are in the circle on the northeastern periphery. But UG seem to have their attention divided. They see SATUL landing in the tiny hut. They see Revenant X-Pac on the high ground. Which one do they focus on first?
Oh, that's a very small real estate, SATUL. UGX Hanuman right in front, and I believe all of their eyes are keen onto what's happening here, but they need to watch their backs as well. It's completely exposed, and RNTX, if they use a binoculars, all the information will be revealed, but this is a smack area entrance coming in from RNTX. They're rushing down the throats of TT as well. Team Tycoons, be aware as 15 bombarding eliminations are coming forward towards you.
Gopu, look at that charge. He dashes right in between Kenny God and Bulwin. Gets one knock, but finally gets traded. It's all up to Sahil. He's the only person who can keep his team alive because Kenny God still is vulnerable from Anshul. Anshul is not taking this chance. He's taking his sweet time to be undetected. He could have had so many eliminations. He could have eliminated Revenant X-Pac, but all that patience won't pay off. Crown gets discovered, gets his crown taken off of his head as Team Tycoon still continue to fight. They won't go down without a fight. And Anshul gets discovered by UG of all people. All that patience simply not being rewarded.
You have the circle advantage. But SHUL, they need to head inside now. RNTX, they already have the advantage towards where the opponents are going to be. And right now, UGX Hanuman, they're taking charge. And with this said, SHUL, they're down towards the last following member, X Divine. This seems to be a very tough decision for him to stay hidden or to take the fight as RNTX, they're opening arms against the opponents, and UGX Hanuman, one by one, they've been bitten off. X-Divine, he's taking a risky move. Sahil on the other end, he wants to go ahead and discover this very moment, and it is just two teams left in the circle. What can X-Divine do? It needs to be a 1v3 clutch to go ahead and finish it off, but it's going to be the blue that gives him a lot of damage alongside RNTX. What a lovely booyah being converted from their end.
Absolutely phenomenal performance from Revenant X-Pac as they come roaring into this game. Aggressive right from the get-go. These guys wiped out every single team on the northwestern part of the map. Whether it's Council Hall or Bayfront, if you fight them in any of these sectors, they will clean up shop and then roll down in towards the center of the map with a lot of eliminations in their kitty already. And when they know they're gonna have like 15 eliminations before the final fight even begins, when they know that they've got nothing to lose, they become even more aggressive. They start treating this entire lobby like they are crops and they want to farm everybody.
Well, true, they were so lethal, and once you know that the lethal weapon is unleashed, it's always going to give mass destruction, and that's the kind of gameplay that we could see. RNTX, they were prepared for every single thing, Crips. Any situation given at them, X15 rushing forward, doesn't matter. They can take care of two teams simultaneously, so that's the kind of hand-eye coordination that they have, and the presence of mind with their ears so peeled that they can understand every single thing that's going around them. So overall, a lovely performance, but kudos to Team Tycoons as well. They are going to be holding that #1 crown for as long as possible. Good place coming in, but let's see what happens in the upcoming time as the numbers, they're for sure dwindled for multiple teams.
Yeah, it was actually quite surprising that many teams in the final circle were down to just one player each. Some of them tried to go down in a blaze of glory, some of them tried to stay hidden. Let's actually take a look at those final moments of this game
Yes.
and see exactly what could have happened if one of them decided to be a little more aggressive. As you can see, X Divine clearly went down swinging. He's like, I'm gonna get as many points on UG as possible and steal those points away from Revenant X Park. Like, there's no way he's gonna clutch out a 1v3. He knows he's doomed to die, so he might as well make the best out of a bad situation.
And in that case, as said, they could not do much there, but eventually they have landed total 15 points, 25 eliminations, strong Revenant X Spark. For sure, they have ignited this one spark where Autobots might have been diminished to either second or the third position. And the entire play, which was revolving around the eliminations, has been sublime. Team Tycoons sitting at 14 points. NG Pros, they also showcase some really nice initiatives in the map of Kalahari, and 14 eliminations for them too.
These are some ridiculous numbers. Only NG Pros come somewhat close to Revenant X Park in terms of eliminations, but even then, they don't even have half of what Revenant X Park possess. This is just greed and violence at its finest. SATUL at 15, the Team Tycoons and NG Pros kind of tied up, but the captains once again having a terrible day. They've got only one game left to prove their mettle. Luis, though, he's more than proved his mettle. He has shown that he's got nerves of steel. 9 eliminations, which is almost half of what his team has, all by himself.
Faster reload, none of the characters' abilities is gonna affect him. Instant revival, Tatsuya's Rebels Rush, every single thing being on point. Lewis has been insane wherever it comes to getting those eliminations, and I get it, the damage has not been on the mark, but overall he has performed that one thing that the team needed for so long, the amount of eliminations. And with that said, let's just go ahead and see how and what kind of performance even the teammates have showcased, the kind of statistics we can see right now. It is going to help overall Lewis as well to go ahead and build around as KD God. He's been also a big support in this entire 4-man team.
Yeah, but even then, none of them are actually using any active supportive characters, you know, no Cassie available on either of them, none of them using anything to heal up. In fact, they have focused more on information, because you see Sahil has the Coda as well as Auto equipped, so he's going to be able to see where every person is in the vicinity. And as long as he's tracking down enemies, the Revenant X Park will rush whichever team they deem to be at a disadvantage. Like, if they figure out that you are alone over here, or if you're missing one single player, or if you have like a 3-man squad and all 4 of the Revenant X Park members are alive, they are going to rush you down with the numbers.
5K,
baby!
Let's go, KD God! What a lovely game coming in from his end.
Name.
Yes, he is. Moreover, he's also managed that KD very well. 8 total eliminations, just one shy from the likes of Lewis. And I get it, Lewis is the rusher, so hence the entire action being portrayed from his end. But what a support being provided, KD God alongside Wolvin. Good plays. And talking about the game summary, please shed some light here, Crips.
Out of the total 52,000 damage, 10,000 alone came from X-Pac. 5 of it came from just one player. So you can kind of say that he did 10% of all the damage in the entire lobby, which is ridiculous amount. And it was a pretty ridiculous game from Revenant X-Pac, so they dominated all throughout. 111 knocks, it's a nice 1-1-1, pretty poetic over there, but only 85 eliminations, basically meaning quite a lot of teams were rezzing their players again and again, and that is probably why Revenant X-Pac were able to hunt all of them down, with the longest elimination being 136 meters.
Solara, finally, this is the only map which seals the deal of so many teams. I can see Autobots going ahead and getting a couple of booyahs, and that's really nice. But here's the thing, the last map is going to decide whether which 6 teams are going to stay and which 6 teams are going to part their ways and be perished.
One last game, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a lot of teams whose fate in the TEZ FFMIC hangs in the balance. Some of the better teams like Captains, people that we expected to be at the tippy top of this lobby are still reeling from their losses. Now they just have one opportunity to lick their wounds and get back into this game, get their heads straight. Otherwise, it will be quite heartbreaking to say goodbye to Nivesh and Mr. JYT this early on in the tournament.
Well, I'm hoping that teams can go ahead and buckle up, Crips. It's not going to be so easy to go ahead and call in a booyah. It's going to be very competitive, and I know for a fact that multiple teams are going to go in for the drop clashes in order to go ahead and seal the fate earlier on itself. So that's a really nice strategy, and I'm hoping that the teams can follow, but it's going to create a lot of chaos in the lobby. Nobody knows where they're going to head, whether they're going to go ahead and respect the places to which the loots are going to come in, or there's always going to be that one player who enters in towards the no man's territory and takes those fights, gets those eliminations, and somehow manage to poke the opponents.
Oh, no. There's not going to be any poking this game. I think in Solara, of all games, when especially it's the last map, people are going to go for a full pierce rather than just poke. These guys are going to take their rushers, arm them up with all the Tatsuya and the Oscar dashes, make sure they've got Joseph equipped so nothing can really stop them, and then ask them to literally spearhead their way into opponents. And I'm actually hoping that this last game is going to be way more aggressive than every game that we've seen so far. A, because obviously rotations are much faster with those slide tracks all around the map. Plus, a lot of these teams have started to drop near TV Tower and the archway, towards the center of the map. So I'm kind of hoping that we see an all-out brawl.
I'm so glad it's not a boxing ring. If it was, it would have been more fun. But TV, that just means that you get more time on screen. And with that said, the kind of action that you can showcase, we all will enjoy as well. So let's see whether each of the teams are going to say, oh, look, we're on TV. Or they're going to be like, oh, shoot, we're out from the entire tournament. So these are the only two situations that I can tell right now, which are coming on top of my head. So hoping for the best for all the teams, 12 teams in total. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and wish for the ones that you want to go ahead and see towards the end of this entire tournament. So the journey is going to be a short one nonetheless, as this is the final map, Crips.
It is going to be a short journey for some of these teams. Only 1 week in and we're already saying goodbye to so many of them. We started off with 48 teams in the overall online qualifiers, reduced it down to 36, and now we're gonna slice it in half, literally slash it in half, bring only 18 teams forward into the league stage. And that's why all these teams who have done so much, all their fate hangs in the balance of just this one game. There's just way too much pressure for one single game.
Wait, is it Aura Esports who did like a really nice 15 or 17 elimination hauler at this map itself? Was it like in group B? Yeah, I believe so too. So I think that it can be that one of those golden opportunities where teams are going to go all out. And at that time, it was at least like a second or the third map. But this time it's the final map. And Solara has been very unpredictable for multiple team scripts. So overall, I'm very excited to go ahead and see. Plus, the kind of plays that we could see all across in the map of Kalahari itself is a testament that the teams are not here to joke around. Even X15 wants to get the piece of the pie, and they want to do it in a much more good old third-party fashion manner, which is a really nice strategy, not gonna lie about that. But overall, you need to have the mindset to it as well. So if you see a team going down on their knees, go ahead and bank it, because that's a golden opportunity to go upon and just get those elimination points.
And these elimination points are going to make a big difference, because I'm just tracking all the scores right now, and all these teams who are between the 5th to the 8th spot are just super duper close to each other. Because right now, I believe we've got SATUL on the 5th spot at 51 points, right? This is the only team which is safe.
66.
After that, at the 6th, okay, then I might have been looking at stats from like the previous game. So yeah, but then all the teams like K98 Army, Megastars, Team Tamilas, they are at 34 and 33 points each according to the stats from the previous game. So those guys are extremely close to each other.
They are very close, and like you rightly mentioned, 44-40, Team Megastars, Team Tamilas, both of them are at the brink of extinction. Similar thing goes for even Car 98 Army, 44 total points. They're above Team Megastars, all thanks to the eliminations that they have received. So overall, I would see how these teams are going to go ahead and function, because it's not going to be the eliminations or the placements which will decide what will happen next. It's about at least getting a point or two of a leeway to stay in towards the top 6, and this is going to be that final map which will decide a lot of things.
The fate of teams like Phoenix Esports and Captains hangs in the balance. One last game, ladies and gentlemen. One last push for Group C. We're going to be dropping into Salada. The flight path slicing the map in half. I want to see if we get to see any early drop clashes, especially for the teams who are in danger. Captains going towards the hub, no trouble for them, but the Captains are actually at the smack bottom of this entire table. They only have 16 points. And the team the sixth spot has 44 points, which kind of means these guys will have to drop a 30 bomb or more if they want a chance to get in this final, in this league stage.
Provided if they do not go ahead and bank in yet another elimination point. And that's the thing, the Team Tamilas is facing the brunt force. It's not looking good. Money and Crown, both of them down on their knees, begging for mercy as the pushes are coming forward. The support is imminent, and looking at the way Kuti is just initiating things, it's really nice to see this team come alive.
Team Tamilas, they don't even need that many points. They are somewhat in the vicinity of teams like Car 98 Army and Megastars, and just a couple more points, they should make it through. So while I want them to play more aggressively and create as much of a buffer between them and everyone else, I also don't want them to get eliminated right off the bat, because Car 98 Army, Megastars, Team Tamilas are all separated by just 4 points each. And if any of these three teams get into a battle, the doors for the other teams will be thrown wide open.
Ooh, that's what I love, Team Tycoons. They've already done the heavy lifting in the previous few maps, and now look at them going ahead and reaping their rewards. Team Tycoons, good shots taken. Phoenix right in front, and they want to go ahead and burn themselves into ashes as the push is looking so good. But here's the thing. Gopu OP, he has been taken down. Team Tycoons, one by one, their following members are also biting down the dust. This is not looking good, and all thanks to Captain, Team Captain. All of these initiatives can be seen, and they were here. They were all active. They knew that the fight is going to initiate right about now, and that's how you capitalize. 3 elimination points. They're looking good with it. But here's the thing, they need more than just 3. Like you mentioned, a 30 bomber of an action. Flash, way too close, shots fired, and what is Flash doing?
Team Tycoons eliminated? The most aggressive team in the lobby is out of the picture, and many teams will thank the Captains for it. Captains, they dropped towards the hub, but now they're fighting towards Waterfall, and they know that somebody would come in from behind them. Little do they know that Car 98 Army is already following them from all the way to hub to Waterfall. But Captains don't even look behind them. These guys now have a completely different team in their crosses, and that's going to be Phoenix Esports. They find one lone straggler, and they use the UAV to go full guns blazing. And I love this approach. Like, you could see from the previous games of how Captains were splitting up and how these guys were moving around in order to find more information, find more places to go to. But now they're all sticking mostly together. Very clearly, there has been a massive shift in their personality, and they're going to be way more aggressive now. But here's 2 other teams in danger. Both Team Tamilas and UG Hanuman desperately need points, and they've both lost 1 member each. Piyush trying to go in and get the res on the Kohli just before the Riptide Rhythm gets them back exposed. But Kohli has managed to heal himself just enough. Wati down and confirmed. Crown and Money trying their level best to get away from this spot, but Aryan might just have angles on them, and he's taking pot shots at everyone else. Money dips back into the fight. That could be a questionable decision.
He's buying time.
And yeah, he's just hoping that if he gives himself up as bait, his teammate will be able to get away, but they can't. Team Tamilas are out.
Money tried his level best to buy some time, but Crown could not get away in the nick of the time. Captain on the other end, good initiative, but now they're paying for all of their sins. Couple of eliminations, and Bhagwan, for the first time I could not see him function so well. And this itself is a big shocker. Shots fired, but the retreat is equivalently good. Phoenix, they're finally risen back. They have those man-count advantage. And Nivesh, for now, he has been obliterated. Kar98 right in the vicinity. And I'm hoping that Phoenix, they have the information about it. Yes, they do. Shubham, he's charging forward. And I'm hoping that this team is looking forward for more eliminations.
Keep in mind that all of these teams are in danger. Both Phoenix
Yeah.
Esports and the Captains are the two teams at the bottom of the score table, and they need massive 30-pointer, maybe even 40-pointer games in order to get into the top 6. But the team they are facing right now, Kar98 Army, they don't have much to lose. They just need to keep themselves ahead of Team Tamilas and Megastars, and Team Tamilas is already out. So the pressure is just getting alleviated off their shoulders.
It is. Zap. Did he find the vending machine? Yes, it's outside. He did not get the golden opportunity to do so, but he somehow has plugged in a player or two. Yes, it's just one player. He's alive and kicking. And that's how the entire team is going to be brought back. Captains, they needed this revival desperately in order to go ahead and hit that 30 bomber. Still, the cutoff is out there. You can go ahead and get those points and manage to weasel your way towards the top 6. Captains, what's it going to look like? As UG x Hanuman, they are charging forward against the Megastars. And Jason, I believe he's gonna be John Doe real soon. Oh, why?
Yep. But he's not just any John Doe, man. You only call John Does to people that you can't identify. Here, you can very clearly identify a disappointed captain, a person who was destined to not just qualify to the finals, but also probably win the whole tournament. One of the most experienced teams in the country, now hanging on to dear life by a thread. Kar98 2 are on the same boat. They just need a couple more points to pump themselves ahead. But with Phoenix Esports out of the picture, Kar98 soar ahead even more. And UGX Hanuman might just be their next target.
He's not Jason Bourne. I've seen Jason Bournes before. They are super good when it comes to the close confrontation. Oh boy, Team Megastars yet again facing the brunt force of so many teams. And this is one man surviving. What can he do? Bot God has been eliminated and we can see that. Wait 1 second, Bot. 1 second. He was eliminated back into the picture. Yes, he's been brought back into life. So let's see how Kar98 can go ahead and showcase their individual gameplay, as multiple times we could see that they have been constantly eliminated and eradicated. So I'm hoping that those plays are gonna come through. This is the final map. At least go for a 30 bomber. Somehow mark it. It's sooner than later.
Clearly, Kar98 is not scared of anything. They are about to clash against Revenant X-Power, one of the most dangerous teams in the lobby. Harsh has Luis in his crosshairs. He's going to move towards the right to get that finish. Meanwhile, they've got a bounty marked on themselves. BotGod, his position is being revealed constantly. And Revenant X-Pac have spread out quite a lot. You can see one of those players on the absolute height on top of that bridge who can rain fire upon them. And KD God does exactly that. Finds a knock, another knock onto Bot God, and he gets the finish onto Soul as well. But hold on, Soul has been instantly revived and brought back. Now Harsh and Sid, they're kind of trapped. Luis and Sahil leading the charge. Sid escapes. Harsh can't find that jump pad, and he's been cornered over here, using the glue wall to keep himself alive, but will only try to get the reses back online. No, he was really hoping he could plug one of his teammates into the vending machine before he died, but Revenant X-Pac will simply not allow that to happen. And now they've got another bounty.
Yep, they have a bounty. So here's another thing, right? They have the information about where the opponents are heading towards. And another part is that if you know that it's going to be Revenant X-Pac right in front of you, just run away. What's the point of taking a fight? Just stay alive. You guys are fighting for existing towards the top 6. And for that, you need to showcase that you can conceive at one point of time.
Absolutely spot on. But Revenant X-Pac feeling no fear, no remorse. They're gonna exterminate Zap. And the captains are out. Using the flames to incinerate not only their opponents, but also their dreams. The journey for the captains will most likely, and not just the captains and Phoenix Esports, most likely come to an end. And that's good news for UGX Hanuman.
It is, it is. UGX Hanuman just running around, trying to be safe. As RNTX have already marked their next prime opponents. Launchpad just to get the back advantage, and that's the kind of flank that you need. And launchpads are coming in from UGX Hanuman as well. They're running away for their dear life. But here's the thing, SADUL, they're taking some really nice shots. Sahil already knocked, and that's the kind of confirmation you need. But why wouldn't you confirm that? You already know that there's such good passive abilities where you can instantly revive your allies, and that's the place where you need to capitalize. Good shots. But here's the thing, SADUL, you need to be more vigilant onto what's going on. And non-stop pros are right behind them. This is not a good sight. I mean, I get it, height advantage on point, but later on, what can you do if you're dead?
I don't think SH will need to do much. NG Pros, though, these guys are itching for revenge. X-Divine takes some shots. Kohli, on the other hand, he's getting into a completely different fight. So UGX Hanuman are also in a bit of danger, but X-Divine does get knocked. Marvel, Arsh, Licky can't get to him in time. Manu confirms that finish. But Marvel is able to actually plug him into the vending machine, and that's probably what NG Pros exactly wanted, because they know that SAD will have control of the vending machine. They wanted him to get back online, but what they did not expect is that SAD will just completely leave from that spot. Marvel uses the glue wall to get himself out of that situation. Will NG Pros follow right behind them?
Oh no.
Do they chase?
They're going to stay back. I hope that they're going to stay back. Anubhav showcasing what he's made of, all of the experience of playing Free Fire Max. And he's also taking one step backward, knowing that there's something big which might get cooked right in front of them. RNTX, this fight has been prolonged for so long, at least for 3 minutes long is what I can say. Good shots fired, and Sahil, he's going to find yet another person from the likes of Team Megastars. They're not functioning so well. Compounds are given, and Autobots, it's all right. You have done your part. They've been eliminated in this map, but overall, the positioning is so strong that nobody can shake them below 6th position. So kudos to them. They have qualified. RNTX still trying to take this fight as Jason. Yes, he's finally alive, and I want to see that Jason going ahead and showcasing what he's made of as well.
Oh, Katie and Louise, they're both trying to find a way up, but UG have kinda got this staircase under lock and key. This is a death trap, and unless Revenant X Spark don't get a couple of knocks with grenades, they won't be able to rush up these stairs. But the thing is, at this point, UG have already used their Steffi ability, so they won't be able to use the Graffiti's Blessing to stop any more nades from coming through. Revenant X Spark recognized that. They wanted to bait out the Graffiti's Blessing so they can continue moving in. Even the electrotherapy healing is going to come to an end soon. So UG will be as vulnerable now as they've ever been. The only problem that I see is that Megastars have one player which might just try to third party there. But on a completely different end, you've got SATUL and NG Pros fighting each other. And this is going to be a very messy affair. Marvel and Cropsy both go down. Arsh locked in a 1v1 against Manu, trying to get the advantage. But Licky, he needs to find Anubhav. Anubhav gets the knock. He will be able to finish him off as well. 1v1. Arsh versus Anubhav. Can they finally make it through? Arsh really needs to get in the zone because this is going to hurt a lot. The grenades being showered upon him. It's a rain of hellfire and shrapnel. But while Arsh tanks the zone damage, he's letting Anubhav get into the zone. He's letting him build a little bit of a lead on him.
Oh, that's all right. Anubhav trying to go ahead and fight for his life. Now Arsh, he is also playing it smart. He is definitely tanking those damage coming in from the blue, and now he's going to choose to rush inside. Oh, that was a lovely launch pad coming in from his end. But here's the thing, he's going to be exposed to all kinds of shenanigans coming in from our Reverend X-Pac, or it can be the teams right behind him. Circle control, it is there, but he needs to be more smart than just this. What? That's the perfect support. Even the game is trying to bless Arsh.
Yeah, and at this point, Arsh, all he can do is stay hidden. He's got the perfect cover, right? He's got that entire wall in front of him and the care package right behind him. No better place for him The only thing that could go wrong is that the zone will push him out. But there's bigger problems for every team who is already in the zone, because Kar98 Army and Revenant X-Pac have occupied the opposite ends of the zone and nobody else can survive in between. Wolven finds Aryan, and once again, UGX Hanuman are eliminated outside of the top 3. Very little scope of them getting into the top 6 overall now, because the Giants are still standing.
Kar98 outside the circle, they have no cover whatsoever. There's just a monster truck under which they're getting shot as well. Constant shots taken onto Arsh. This is some kind of kahunas that this entire team is showcasing. They know for a fact that there's an entire team right in front of them, but they dare not to take that fight. RNTX, they have just a couple of players, but still, Kar98 is taking their own sweet time in order to push that compound. That just showcases what kind of gameplay RNTX has been showcasing since a really long time. I believe 16 total eliminations is what they have, and it's more than what they expected in this final map. Few more glue walls.
Harsh now has to go ahead. Yeah,
one more.
Barely anything left to keep himself alive. He's just using the heals as much as possible. He's also hoping that both the teams stop focusing on him and start fighting each other. Like, it is so frustrating when you've got bigger fish to fry, but they're still focusing on you. It seems like both the teams want his point in particular. They want to eliminate him from the equation. Revenant X-Pac, they also try to take pot shots onto Harsh and Botcod, not realizing that their damage won't really do much because Kar98 Army have got the electrotherapy active. And now it's all gonna be a battle of patience. It's the calm before the storm.
Arsh constantly going in for those heals. He also is fighting for the survival as they are towards the 5th position. Kar98 on the other end. Constant shots been fired. Arsh, slowly but surely, he is making his way towards the circle. But unfortunately, he needs to make it even more further. Deep down and couple of shots coming in. That's not a good sign. RNTX have already done the heavy lifting, and Kar98, they're rushing forward. Last man standing, KD God, what can he do? I believe he has already given all of his weapons down, and he knows that the team has already qualified. But Kar98, they have a bigger fish to fry, and they did getting the booyah. They're for sure secured the top 6 spot for themselves, and what a play.
Amazing stuff. Not just from Kar98 Army, but there's just a good enough presence of mind in Revenant X-Pac. When KD God knows that he can't win the booyah, he's just gonna glue all himself up and give his life away to the blue zone so that he doesn't give Kar98 Army that one extra point. I mean, the battle is quite close. Because Kar98 Army get the booyah, there's a pretty good chance they'll make it into the top 6. But on the off chance that they don't have enough, on the off chance that 1 point can make a difference, he denies his own life and doesn't give them that 1 point.
Even I'm getting those nervous 99s right now. Oh my goodness, the last fight was so darn good. Kar98, they stuck with their guns, they survived till the very end, they got 12 points nonetheless, and that itself is a really good sign for the overall standing. So yeah, this team has for sure sealed their fate that they're going to qualify, but the others, it's still a big mystery which needs to be unboxed real soon.
Oh yeah, and this mystery is gonna keep a lot of people on the edge of their seats. Make sure you don't bite all your nails away in anticipation. Keep some for the rest of us. I know, it's just a metaphor. I know you don't have any bad habits, Azura. But a lot of these teams had some bad habits which they could not fix in time, and they will end up paying the price for it, and the price is a hefty one. It's the elimination. Let's take a look at the final moments of this game and see how poor Arsh was just being griefed by both Revenant X-Pac and Kar98.
But he did his work. That's what I'm gonna say, Crips. He did his work. He wanted to survive. He showcased what he's made of. Instant heals coming in, but those shots were so darn good. KD God got the elimination point, so that's a relief for the likes of SATUL. But Kar98, they've already embarked this journey that they needed. 21 total points. They have the booyah, but look at the way Revenant X-Pac have showcased their gameplay. 26 total points, and they have stolen that spotlight.
Definitely stolen that spotlight. More booyahs in their pocket. 2 booyahs back to back, and that is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they did not come here to qualify to the league stage. They were here to send a message. When you've got big names like Autobots getting double booyahs, Godlike getting 4 booyahs, Revenant X Park said, listen, guys, we also have to make a statement. Let's go for a banger game and end it on a high note. Kar98 Army with the Booyah obviously have 21 points. UGX Hanuman, 18 points. That's big. They desperately needed those points. Let's see if that's enough.
I'm hoping. Talking about the MVP in the map of Solara, it is going to be Soul. What a lovely game coming from his end. 4 total eliminations, damage of 2,319 with 3 assists. Oscar being one of his prime character for Mayhem, so those charges were looking really nice. But overall, I'm just so focused towards what happened in the points table that I cannot, associate anything what's happening in this current screen. Forward, yes. Silver Spoon, yes. Alongside Nairi's ability, which can go ahead and heal your allies in the midst of bringing those glue walls. That's a really good addition.
Yep, I'm actually surprised to see him using Nairi even after the update, because Nairi was nerfed and a lot of players have already stopped using him. But if Soul can use that character and become the MVP, well, that's a testament of his skill, not just the characters that he chooses. You can also see that Harsh using the Cassie's electrotherapy was really useful for his team, because it kept them alive, kept them sustained in that entire fight. And even BotGod using Graffiti's Blessing for Steffi makes sure that no team can use grenades on them when they're rushing. And of course, you've got Sid using the typical sniper loadout, which isn't much of a surprise.
He has the Enigma's eyes. He needs the information. Every single thing was provided. But the damage has been one of the departments where Sid has fallen shy of way too many numbers. But it's all right. Overall, it's a team contribution that came in. It was an overall very good performance from the likes of Kar98. They needed a booyah. They received the booyah. And now they have successfully reached towards the top 6. But the others, what happened to them? Come on. I'm still having those nervous 99s. But talking about the game summary, about what happened, what kind of damage we could see in this particular map. Most of the teams I've seen in this map, Solara, it was very passive approach. But in that passiveness as well, you could see the amount of damage not at all shying from the likes of 50k. So that's really good. Alongside the amount of glue walls being deployed or destroyed, or around 166, and that's a really good number.
That's way more than Purgatory. Exactly, right? I did not expect him to do this high, because that's way more than Purgatory. In fact, I'm actually happy that the last 2 games of the day were way more intense, because we got to see 50k on either end. So that's crazy good. 20 eliminations missed, with 101 knocks on the table, which is a fairly acceptable number. Anything more than 20 and I would have been really mad about the teams missing out on opportunities. So overall, this was a great game, a really banger of a game to end the day on. But very soon, we will now find out which of these teams have made it to the league stage of TEZ FFMIC India Cup. And here they are on your screens. Revenant X Park, Autobots, NG Pros, Team Tycoons, S8UL, and Kar98 Army. These guys seem to be safe. In fact, Kar98 Army had a very difficult journey. They were on the 6th spot for the longest teams. You had teams like UGX Hanuman chasing them, Team Tamilas chasing them, and all of these teams were hot on the heels of Kar98 Army. They were just separated by 1 or 2 points at best. And now Kar98 Army with the Booyah in the final game soars ahead of everybody else and confirms their spot in the league stage.
League stage, it's gonna be even more intense now. It's always like you have something to look upon to, you have something to go ahead and bank upon, and all of these teams right now, they can take some rest, drink some water, because they have played so darn good. But the other 6 teams who were there towards the bottom 6, it's all right. Lesson learned the hard way, that you could also do something much better about survivability and getting those eliminations. But it's just that you need to be active way before than what you think is the time to go ahead and do something better. So that's one of the places where teams can go ahead and learn their lessons and go ahead and watch the wards upon what went wrong. But overall, these top 6 teams, they're going to have a really good time. They're going to understand what went wrong as well. It's not that all of the homeworks are going to be done and dusted. Let's just worry about league stages later. Nope, it's coming right next to us as soon as possible. So yeah, you need to be prepared.
Yeah, all of them need to be prepared because the competition is going to get more intense. It's going to get harder. We already saw how much of a difference there is between week 1 and week 2 of just the online qualifiers. Now that the wheat has been separated from the chaff, now that all the little players who were hoping to be some of the tier 1 teams, all the undergods, all of them who were hoping to get in, now that they've been eliminated, only the best of the best remain. The cream of the crop is here in the league stage. Welcome to these 18 teams. You will be seeing them in action very soon, in just a couple of weeks. But like I said, it is going to be quite hard to say goodbye to some of these teams as well. Teams like Team Tamilas, the captains, Phoenix Esports. These are some big names, and they felt short today.
Indeed, and overall, we could see the way they could even go ahead and function. It was some bit of passive aggressiveness, and those passive aggressive moves did not actually give them the right kind of advantage over what needs to be something really good. But these are the teams who have qualified towards the league stage. Welcome to one and all of them. Total amount of 18 teams that have progressed forward, and I'm just here to go ahead and see what kind of performance they can also bring in.
Exactly. Jaunty Gaming, Car98 Army, both of these teams had to struggle in their groups, and they just scraped it past in the last few games, but it was a lovely story on their end. Aura Esports, Autobots, these guys had absolutely no trouble. Blackbirds too. We didn't expect much from them in the week 1 of the online qualifiers, but they have surprised us all, and I'm very happy about it. And then you have NG Pros, NG Silver Eagle, both these teams hyper aggressive, and I love the way they fight. On the opposite end, on the more tactical end, you have teams like SAQL and Crust Esports who take really nice positions and use that to their advantage. Then you have Godlike and RNX. These guys are absolute monsters. You could remember that quadruple booyah from Godlike. They combine the best of both worlds. Also joining them are going to be Revenant X Park, Team Tycoons, Total Gaming, Ultra Instinct, Vintage Esports, and Aerobots as well.
Yeah. So overall, all of these teams, congratulations, you're progressing forward. And what a lovely game, man. Group A, B, C, all 3 of them have showcased such good, valiant efforts from their end. Moreover, here's the thing, right? They could set those benchmarks higher than ever. Group A started every single thing. Group B followed through, and they set a really nice benchmark. And then later on, Group C comes in, and they showcase all of the games being so good as well. So overall, it was a lovely play coming from all of these teams. Moreover, I would really thank the way even the production team is going ahead and bringing those map combinations as well, throwing the teams to all of these places where it's completely unknown, and they're still trying to figure out what needs to be done. So that's the kind of adaptability that even the production team is bringing in, alongside the teams to showcase how good they perform.
Exactly. It is a combined effort to make sure that you guys get the best entertainment possible, the highest possible quality of Free Fire Max competition. And it has just begun, ladies and gentlemen. This was just the online stage. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be having the league stage as well. And the competition gets even more intense. 4 weekends of high-octane Free Fire Max action, and it's gonna be none other than some of the best teams in the country duking it out. Insane action.
Well, for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it. You guys are watching TEZ Free Fire Max India Cup 2025. We're going to sign up for today. We're going to be live some of the time. But for that, you have to update all of your socials. Alongside, follow this channel, subscribe to the channel in order to get all the updates. Till then, take care and adios.
back to the majesty, solace and fantasy. Caught up in apathy, tension, the thoughtless agony. The academy to go back to the majesty. Caught up in apathy, tension, the thoughtless agony. The academy to go back to the majesty. Caught up in apathy, tension, the thoughtless agony. Check the duality.
Flashback, what you got, man? You been cracked that. In and out of dolo when the new man. To the boys were on him when he cracked that. Man, I don't act like heads up, yeah, all of that one pack. I could be anywhere, feeling alright. To the game on the head is all mad at, mad at, mad at.